bipartisan support, including the endorsements of both Democrat and Republican judges. So no matter your affiliation, this year when you get to the judges, I would again be honored if you would vote to re-elect me, Judge Chris Dillon. Thank you.
So look for the judges and vote Chris Dillon.
If you missed Pirate Radio Live, you missed.
And I guess we have to start, at least in this room, with Troy D's Bears, who are 4-1, Tony.
Can you believe that?
Are they a real 4-1? A legit 4-1? They're 4-1.
Who was it that said you are what your record is? Who they beat? Who's the old coach of the Giants? Bill Parcells. Bill Parcells used to say, you are what your record says you are.
All right. Well, they're 4-1. They
So you think they're Super Bowl contenders?
I'm not saying that, but they are 4-1 right now.
Pirate Radio Live, weekdays from 3 to 6, right here on Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation. This is Pirate Radio, WGHB Farmville, 1250 and 92.7 FM Greenville, WDLX Washington, 930 and 104.1 FM Washington. The following is an exclusive presentation of Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
I could not be more proud of you. Seriously, I could not be more proud of you. Great week of practice. Great job preparation in the last 48 hours. Great focus. The best walkthroughs and meetings we've had. That just goes to show you, however you prepare, that's how you're going to play. Fast J. Verity, new school record for Carolina. We know we're the Lions. Our victory go Lions. Carolina. Forward, go. We are the Lions at ECU. We know we're the Lions. Our victory go Lions. We are the Lions at ECU.
Yeah, night and day. I hate losing more than anyone. Like I said, I came here to win. I stand by that. And, we're going to celebrate tonight, but starting tomorrow, we're going to prepare for Navy, and we're going to go in. 1-1 in the conference sounds good, but 2-1 sounds a whole lot better.
That was a pretty good celebration. There's been some good ones over the years. That one's up there. So, you feel like a weight's been lifted off your shoulders. And don't listen to anybody outside of our locker room. There's a lot of haters out there, a lot of people doubting. Don't listen to them, because we got to say it how we perform.
Pirate fans, get ready. It's time to talk ECU football on the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate Show. The Pirate Radio sports team will get you ready with a game-winning strategy, live reports from the stadium, a breakdown of all the X's and O's, and all the scores and previews from other games around the country. Let's get ready. It's time for Pirate football on the voice of the Pirate Nation. The Bud Light Pregame Tailgate is on the air.
Man, never gets old hearing that celebration from last week following ECU's win over South Florida. Today, they'll go for 2 in a row as the Navy midshipmen come to town to take on the Pirates at noon at Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium. And we'll get you ready for that kickoff right here on the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate. And we got a lot to do in these 4 hours. Got the voice, Jeff Charles, live in the Pirate Radio studios coming up here all hour number 1. And also, Jeff, you'll go one-on-one with Ken Niumatalolo, a guy that you talk to every time the Pirates and Navy get together, and looking forward to that conversation later on this hour as well.
Yeah, I am too, Clip, and he is one of my favorite coaches to talk with in the American Athletic Conference. He's just such a super guy, and we're going to talk about him getting his 100th career victory last week at Temple. That was a big win for Navy, their best win of the year, 31-29, and Coach Niumatalolo, now in his 13th year at Navy, has won 100 games all at one institution. He's 162, and Clip, guys who have been in the profession a long time, they do amass 100 victories. But not that many guys amass 100 wins at the same school. And that's what he has been able to do. And he was very emotional earlier this week when he talked about the relationships that he's built at Navy, and especially with Paul Johnson, who was his mentor. And Coach Ken Niumatalolo is a guy, you never hear a bad word from anybody about him. He's just a terrific individual. And we'll have the opportunity to sit down and visit with him in just a few minutes.
Brian Blick, who played at J.H. Rose, played at Navy, now the director of football ops at Navy, joined me on the show, Pirate Radio Live, earlier this week. He had some great things to say about Ken Niumatalolo. We'll hear that. We'll hear Brian's thoughts on watching that triple option. We will talk to a ton of folks here in the next 4 hours as well. Brian Bayley going to join us in the Pirate Radio studios coming up in hour number 2. We'll hear hear from ECU offensive coordinator Donnie Kirkpatrick, defensive coordinator Blake Harrell, all in the 9 o'clock hour. 10 o'clock hour, Stephen Igo, Ronnie Woodward will be here in the Pirate Radio studios, and we'll go out to the Fixed NC Live line, talk to David Glenn, and get an update on what's going on around the ACC and get his thoughts on this ECU and Navy matchup. And then in the 4 o'clock hour, it's live updates from Dowdy Ficklin Stadium. Who's dressed out, who is not. We'll talk to Troy D., Billy Weaver, Brian North, all coming up in hour number 4 of today's show. And the big man on campus, Jeff Nadeau from Barstool Sports, get a look at today's college football slate. So a lot going on. And as I see on the television, yes, we have more baseball coming up today as well later on as the Braves and Dodgers continue their series, Astros-Rays as well. A great sports day, and we're getting you ready for the noon kickoff between ECU and Navy. We'll take a timeout, come back, and Shirley, just for John Moody and those who asked for it, we'll pop the top on the Week 4 edition of the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate next.
Get your ice cold Bud Light Seltzer here. Even though you can't go to the game, doesn't mean the game can't be brought to you now here. Just go to budlight.com/delivery. That's budlight.com/delivery.
Give me 2 mangoes.
Coming at you. It's a little short. Ow. Sorry. You know what? I'm just going to walk them over to you.
Whenever there's a game to watch, there's a Bud Light there. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, and Bud Light Seltzer, IRC Beer in Texas, St. Louis, Missouri.
Here with Mike Mullis from Fixed NC. And Mike, you were telling me the other day, people ask you all the time, I didn't know you did that. What does that mean?
You know, anything that involves property damage repair, call us first. If it's your crawl space, you've got interior humidity issues, a water loss, your ice maker line breaks, obviously fire and smoke, everybody knows we do those. But anything that involves interior or exterior property damage, we're your repair experts.
Mike, how can everybody get in touch with you?
252-999-0001 or fixednc.com.
Hey Pirate Nation, this is former ECU tight end Bryce Williams from my friends at the Auto Store Group. If you're in the market for a quality used vehicle, then the Auto Store Group is for you. The Auto Store Group has 3 locations and over 150 quality used vehicles to choose from for all budgets. Shop their entire inventory today at theautostoregroup.com. The Auto Store Group, your hometown store and Pirate owned and operated for over 38 years. Go Pirates!
Hidden phone trade-ins, hidden plan requirements, hidden catches. You won't find them at US Cellular because we speak fair. Plus, when you switch right now, you can get the latest phones free. Upgrade to fair. Upgrade to US Cellular. Requires new postpaid service plan, new line port in, credit approval, qualified smartphone purchase, and comes via monthly bill credit on a 30-month RIC. Taxes, fees, and additional terms apply.
This is Brandon Tate, owner and operator of Atlantic Wireless, an authorized agent for US Cellular since 1997. Visit AtlanticWireless.com to find the store near you. We go beyond the call.
This is Marcus Crandall, former ECU Pirate and Grey Cup champion. And you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate, powered by Bud Light, the official beer of the ECU Pirates, and proudly distributed by Carolina Eagle Distributing since 1989. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. For the latest breaking news, interesting stories, and awesome contests that can make you a winner, be sure to follow Pirate Radio on our social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at PR927FM. We're also going to be giving away a prize pack coming up today on Twitter, so make sure you follow us on Twitter. You can join close to the 50,000 followers today at PR927FM. Now let's head back into the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate. Here's your host, Clip Brock.
All right, Shirley Rhodes. I got Glenn Griffin here in the Pirate Radio studios. The voice, Jeff Charles, to my left. And Shirley, what do you think? Hour 3, 10 o'clock hour, we do our pregame giveaway today.
I'm down with that.
We got a case of Bud Light, $25 gift card to Parker's Barbecue, Pirate Radio t-shirt, koozies, and a decal. It's a great prize pack we're giving away here on the show. And then Shirley mentioned a game day Twitter giveaway as well. So we'll make you a winner as you ride along with us here on the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate. All right, East Carolina coming off a win trying to make it 2 in a row. And we'll start there with you, Jeff, before we move on to today. Let's look back at last week. And, man, coming off the game against Georgia State, I did not see that type of performance coming, and the Pirates did it offensively, defensively, pretty much every side of the ball. They dominated and beat South Florida rather easily, and were able to do what they wanted to do, especially on the offensive side, running the football. Holton Ahlers had a very efficient game throwing the ball, Jeff, and I don't know. I couldn't find many holes to in that ECU repertoire last Saturday.
Well, it was the best effort, Clip. There's no question in Mike Houston's short tenure here at ECU. There's no doubt about that. And you're right. Everything just seemed to click on all cylinders last week. It would be great to bottle that and be able to have it every week. But as we all know, that's certainly not the case. But the guys played great. And you know how hard they work, Clip. And it's so good to see them being rewarded for all the hard work that they have put in. A lot of smiles on that Pirate sideline at the end of the game and in the locker room, as you just heard a couple of minutes ago here. So it was a big day for the Pirates. Jake Verity had a big day, of course. He's now the all-time leading scorer in the history of Pirate football. That is a mouthful. We probably haven't talked enough about Jake and his career, but what a terrific career he's had here at ECU. I hope he gets a chance to kick on Sundays, which I think he will. And you mentioned Holton Ahlers had his best game of the year this past week, and Rajay Harris was outstanding with 115 yards on the ground. He really looked good. And then C.J. Johnson had the 2 touchdown receptions. Maybe that now, Clip, will get C.J. untracked a little bit. He's been off to a slow start. And then defensively, the Pirates really got after him. 5 quarterback sacks, 13 tackles behind the line of scrimmage. And I think that defense last week played like Blake Harrell, the new defensive coordinator, wants this defense to play, with a lot of guys running around with their hair on fire and playing a lot of guys and keeping the troops fresh. I've got 12 defensive linemen on my depth chart again this week, and we'll probably see 12 defensive linemen play for the Pirates today. And that's good because guys stay fresh out on the field. I think we saw that last week. So you're right. There were a lot of positives in that game, and let's see if the Pirates can build on it.
And, Jeff, when I talk to you and Kevin Monroe during the week on Pirate Radio Live, usually you guys have the best angle and have that best shot every game you're at. This time for road games, you are calling it from Dowdy Ficklin Stadium, so you don't have that bird's eye view. But from the games you've watched so far, Jeff, which one of those 12 or more guys on the D-line has stood out, if anybody, to you so far?
Well, I think a couple of guys, when I talk with the coaches and I ask them who is playing well for you, they mentioned Rick D'Abreu. He is playing very well. He's a young player. He's a sophomore. Now, he played a little bit last year, but he's been playing extremely well. And they also mentioned Xavier McKiver, who is a true freshman, and he's a big fella. He's 310 pounds in the middle of that defensive line. They tell me he's getting better each and every week, so he's been a big plus. And then the guy who brings the experience is Chris Willis, who played a lot of football at Appalachian State. Now, he didn't play last year, so he's a little bit rusty maybe. He had an injury last year, but now he comes to ECU, and the good thing is he'll have 2 years if he wants to come back and play again next year. But he's a good player, and he adds a lot of experience up front. And then you've got guys who, really aren't household names as of yet that come in and do a good job, like Elijah Morris and Dre Terry. There are a couple of good stories. Chad Stevens is a good story. So, yeah, there are a whole bunch of them. Deangelo Mckinney's been around here for a while. They've moved him around, Clip, as you know, to different positions. He's been a tight end, and now he's playing on the defensive line. He has some experience. He's a little bit of an older player than some of these other guys who are playing. So, yeah, it's a bunch of guys, and that's a good thing because competition and practice is really, really tough.
While we're talking defense, Jeff, I think the best game of the season certainly for the linebackers last week. And, Chad Stevens at defensive end linebacker, wherever they put him, I saw that number 7 running around quite a bit. It looked like there were multiple Aaron Ramseurs on the field last week, Jeff. He was everywhere. Jaira Wilson, Xavier Smith. It was nice to see those guys flying around because against a team like Navy today, you're going to need those linebackers to play well.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Aaron played really well last week. And with both Aaron Ramsey and Tank Robinson, those are the two veteran guys. They're the holdover guys from the Scotty Montgomery era, as you know, Clip. And they mean a lot to this defense because this defense is so young. You've got a couple of guys who have played a lot of football here. Ramsey is the senior from Shelby, which, by the way, was Coach Montgomery's hometown. And then, of course, Tank Robinson's the senior from Holly Hill, South Carolina. And he had 3 picks last year to lead the Pirates. He's a third-team All-AAC performer. So you've got those two seniors who mean an awful lot to this defense because they bring that experience factor. They've been through the wars. They've been through the battles. And they are the guys who are the guys that are really kind of the leaders of that team defensively, along with Xavier Smith, who, Xavier's kind of grown into this role, I think, Clip. He was a tight end, as you know, early on in his career. They moved him over now to a linebacker spot, and he brings some punch back there. He's 246 pounds, so he's legit as far as his size playing at a linebacker position. And so he means a lot to that defense, too.
And, Jeff, looking at the back end, they had to do a little, put a few different guys in last week. And on the broadcast, I believe you talked about Jaquan McMillan, who didn't play the first half and came in the second half. And, again, watching the game at home, and you're thinking, okay, it must have been a discipline issue where maybe he suspended the first half, but he was banged up, and they didn't know if they were going to get him in at all, right? So they had to go with some other options at the DB positions, but those guys, Malik Fleming and Nolan Johnson, those guys played well last week, and Jaquan was able to get in a little bit.
Yeah, Jaquan had a turf toe last week, Clip, and they actually even had a steel plate put in his shoe so he could play, and that's why he didn't play. He was injured.
And that's kind of one of those lingering deals, right, where it
is.
Kind of sticks with you.
Yeah, kind of like a hamstring, kind of lingers. And we'll see how Jaquan is for the game today. Hopefully he'll be able to play today. But Nolan Johnson came in and played really well in his spot. And I like Nolan because he's tall. He's 6'2", and we've talked about that this year about how short the corners are for the Pirates with Jaquan McMillan's 5'9" and Malik Fleming is 5'9". And Nolan brings a little more size back there at 6'2", and I thought he came in and he played really well for the Pirates last week. So they continue to develop depth, especially on the defensive side of the ball, Clip, and that's only going to prove to be advantageous for this football team as they move on.
Kind of a shame, Jeff, that you're so excited about what you did last week defensively, and Blake Harrell wants to go in there and say, all right, let's just repeat what we did last week. But you're playing Navy this week. You have to scrap everything you did last week and get ready for that option attack. And I know it's something that Blake Harrell has a lot of experience in, defending it at practice at his previous stops and also in games. Mike Houston, of course, has coached the option. Blake Harrell made a good point this week, though, Jeff. It doesn't matter what he knows. It matters what his players know and what he can give to the players, that knowledge. And that's been his task, not only this week, but since he's been hired as defensive coordinator.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Clip, and it's going to be interesting. I think that's one of the big storylines going into this game today. The influence that Blake Harrell has had on this defense, and will this defense play better against Navy than what the Pirates have been able to play against them in past years? As we all know, there have been some long days at the ranch playing Navy. 76 points, 66 points, 56 points.
So you don't need my sheet. It's in
my head. Unfortunately, I was there and I saw all of those games, Clip, and they weren't pretty, as we all know. And last year, 42 points is not good, but it's better than what it had been. But the Pirates were really never in that game last year in Annapolis, 42-10. I don't know what it was, but they didn't play well at all. They didn't play well from the get-go, and Navy came out and punched them in the mouth, and they had to catch up the rest of the way. Now, you can't do that against Navy. You can't get down by a couple of touchdowns because it's really tough with the way they run that offense. But it's going to be interesting, and you're right, at Lenoir-Rhyne and at the Citadel, Mike Houston ran the triple option offense, so they know it. Didn't help a whole lot last week, but Blake Harrell wasn't the defensive coordinator last year, I should say. But Blake wasn't the defensive coordinator last year, so we'll see what kind of influence he has had. If he can slow down this Navy offense, he'll be the first defensive coordinator ever at ECU to really slow him down, because even the game the Pirates won in Annapolis in 2011, when Ruffin McNeil was the coach, Navy Navy did score 35 points, but the Pirates scored 38. That was a good win, and the only win that ECU has had in this series.
Do you remember calling that one, Jeff? And during the game when Dominique Davis is completing all those passes in a row, at what point did you become aware that he was about to break Aaron Rodgers' record for most completions? Did you know at the time?
I didn't really know at the time, Clip. Sometimes during road games, we don't get as much information as we do during home games.
Yeah.
And so,
also, it was a stat that it carried over from the week before, so it wasn't like just the game. So, yeah, I understand. But so you found out, I guess, afterwards that he had done that?
I think somewhere maybe late in the game,
yeah.
The word filtered down that he had done that, and he was just pinpoint accurate that day, and he was just finding receivers, and the Pirate defense played well enough for East Carolina to get the win. But that's the only one in the series, and the Pirates owe them a few. Let's see if they can start today.
And man, that game in 2011, and then I believe it was a season opener in Annapolis when Skip Holtz and the Pirates lost to Navy 28-23. Those are the only two games in the series, Jeff, that have really been a game in the fourth quarter, and then maybe the second half period. But that's something that is a bit frustrating. It gets away from you so quick in these meetings, and it's on the defense, but some of it's on the offense too. You got to make your possessions count, and ECU has not been able to do that offensively in a lot of these matchups.
No, they haven't, Clip. And when you talk about Navy, everybody talks about their triple option attack. They don't talk a whole lot about their defense. But defensively last year, they were really good, and they've got 7 starters back on their defense this year. And they're multiple with their fronts and the way they bring pressure and the way guys are moving around. It's really difficult to prepare to play against them, and your line calls have to be good with your center, and the quarterback has to know what he's doing as well with the coverages that they change a lot too. So this is a cerebral kind of game when you play against Navy because their defense is so good. We know how good their offense is, and the games go quickly. People complain about 3.5 hour, 3 hour and 45-minute games, but when you play Navy and they don't throw, and last week against Temple, they only threw the ball 2 times the entire game, and they just line up and run and run and run, and that clock just keeps on moving, and so the games usually go by quickly. That's why when you do get behind them by a couple of touchdowns and then they've got the ball and they just keep running it and the clock doesn't stop, all of a sudden the game gets away from you quickly.
My first hope going into a game, Jeff, is a Pirate victory. My second hope is a short ball game, a quick one. But, man, when you play against Navy, you're right. How about Temple last week? They go on the field, first drive of the game, Jeff, and I'll get the exact numbers here. I believe it was 17 plays. The opening drive, 17 plays, 75 yards, 9 minutes, 38 seconds. They took up about a quarter, almost a full quarter of football with the football and just grinding that clock down and putting 7 points on the board.
So if they've got it, you don't have it, you can't score. So that's the problem with that, and that's the way they play. The service academies all play pretty much the same way. Army, Air Force, and Navy all play pretty much that style of football, and the reason they do that is because oftentimes athletically they don't match up very well against their opponents, but they're tough. They're a tough nut. They're not that big again this year, Clip. I mean, when you look at the offensive line, for instance, the left tackle's 6'2", 268 pounds, and you don't find too many Division I left tackles that size, but they're such tough guys, and they come off the ball so hard, and they've got a couple of all AAC players on the right side of the line. So when you're watching the game today or listening to the game, I will mention this, they run right an awful lot behind a couple of second-team all AAC guys. They're both seniors. They've been there forever. Peter Nesterowitz and Billy Honecker are a couple of really good offensive linemen on that right side. They both play on the right side. So look for that today, and we'll see what they do. Now, the good thing is, Clip, is, as we both know, Malcolm Perry's not there.
Yes.
And last year he ran for over 2,000 yards, which was a record for an FBS quarterback. And thank goodness he's no longer there. He was a magician with that football, and nobody stopped him. And it's left them with some inexperienced guys this year because they didn't get a whole lot of reps behind him the last few years.
And over the years, we've seen those playmakers at quarterback going all the way back to maybe even Ricky Dobbs. I remember that name a lot. Keenan Reynolds was unbelievable. And then Malcolm Perry last year. And I think ECU did a pretty good job taking away the fullback last year, Jeff, but it didn't matter because Malcolm Perry would just kind of do it himself and take it down the field into the end zone. You mentioned, and again, we talk about the option and the offense, but defensively, going back to what you said, Jeff, it reminded me Morgan Ehlers was on Pirate Radio Live yesterday, and he talked about how Holton coming out of that Navy game talked about how much they do pre-snap, which then makes Holton and the offensive line do their checks, and then Navy will recheck out of that. You talk about cerebral and not having the best athletes, but that's how they get you on defense, Jeff, with what they do pre-snap and all the shifts and movements they do on that defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, you really have to be on your P's and Q's, no question, and the Pirates, I'm sure, have gone over everything this week, but until you get out there, Clip, in game speed, and you see it and you try and figure out what they're doing, it's a different story, and they've got some really good players. As I mentioned, 7 players that started last year are back this year. Diego Fagot is their best player. Now, he's been a little bit banged up. I'm not sure if we're going to see him today or not.
That'd be a pretty big key if he's not out there. Yeah.
Be a big loss. He's 6'3", 240-pound junior out of Fort Lauderdale. First team All AAC linebacker. So he's really a good one. They've got some other all-conference players. The strong safety, Kevin Brennan, is really a good player. He had a pick against the Pirates last year. Jarius Warren is an outstanding defensive end. He's also an All AAC player, so it's going to be a tough matchup for the Pirates on that side of the ball. You know, I really always enjoy doing my homework when we play Navy, Clip, because so many of these Navy players, their families have been in the military. Their dads or even their moms have been in the military, or some of them have come from very athletic families that their dads or their grandfathers have been athletes. And there really are some very special families. It's really interesting to research the players that East Carolina will face off with against Navy today.
And I'm looking at your board there. I see a North Carolina, I believe Newton, North Carolina, but you'll see guys all across the United States when you see Navy too, right? There's no like recruiting pipeline when it comes to Navy. They're nationally.
Yeah, they're a national program, and they recruit nationally. They've got guys from California to Mississippi to Massachusetts and everywhere in between, and it's a great opportunity for a young guy to go to a service academy, and these guys truly are student athletes. Sometimes we wonder if there are any student athletes left in college athletics, Clip. I mean, a lot of people talk a big game about student athletes, but when you play Navy, you definitely are playing against student athletes, and how these guys are able to do it, they're just special young men. If you're majoring in chemistry and all these other subjects and play football and have the discipline you must have to be at the Naval Academy, I don't know how they do it, but they are special people, and they're certainly able to. For instance, the corner, Cameron Kinley, remember now there are 4,400 cadets at Navy, midshipmen at Navy. So there are 4,400 of them. So, you know, you look at that and think, well, who's going to be the class president? And this kid who plays left corner, Cameron Kinley, is the class president at the United States Naval Academy, and he's also a football player. So that says something right there.
Pirates owe Navy 1 or 2, and you know what? They owe them 1 for basketball, too. I just remembered Navy knocked off ECU in hoops last year. And I believe the event was called maybe the Marine Classic or the don't play Navy in the Marine Classic. They're going to get all the calls from the officials. I found out last year.
Yeah, you're right. I wasn't there, but Cy Seymour told me all about it.
There you go. See, but breaking down this one, Jeff, and we're going to hit your interview with Kenny Amatololo in just a moment. Before we do, a couple more points. And how about the growth of the O-line for ECU from week 2 to week 3, Jeff? That was one of the biggest shockers to me, that those guys played so well. As Mike Houston pointed out, it was their second game together as a group, and that makes a big deal, right? As many times you can get snaps with the same group of 5 on the offensive line, that's huge. And you talk about depth and continuity, you need it on the O-line. They got at least a little bit of it right now. It's still kind of a hodgepodge with Deontay Smith out, Noah Henderson out. He's still got some guys out, but man, credit to those guys last week. They really stepped up.
They really did. I didn't know if they could do it or not, Clip, but they certainly did. And when I sat down with Donnie Kirkpatrick, the offensive coordinator of the Pirates, I asked him who played well on the offensive line, because as broadcasters and as fans, it's hard to tell who's really playing well until the coaches grade the tape and they look at who played well at the end of the game and on into Sunday. And so Donnie told me that Nyshad Strother is really starting to do a good job at that left tackle spot. And Deontay Smith's an all-conference player, but he's hurt. He's not been able to play. He won't be able to play again today. And so Nyshad, who had been playing on the right side of the offensive line, they moved him to left tackle, and he's starting to really get a good feel for that position. So they're really happy with him. He played well last week. Avery Jones from Havelock, the North Carolina transfer, played well last week. He's continuing to get better, and he's just a sophomore, so he's going to be around here for a while. And then Donnie also told me that Bayley Malovic at right tackle maybe had his best game as well. Bayley is a tall, rangy guy, doesn't really look like a right tackle. It looks more like a tight end at best. He's 6'6" and 257 pounds, but he's done a good job, and he did a good job last week. And they're getting some other young players in there. Trent Holler starting to play some. Walter Stribling, they're starting to get him in there. Justin Chase, the transfer from NC State, played some. And then Fernando Fry he's been solid at the center position, and Sean Bailey's been solid at the right guard spot. He'll start today, his 12th start as a Pirate. He goes back to last year as a starter. So things are starting to come together, Clip, with the offensive line. It's good to see. They're developing some young players, maybe not as many as that defensive line has, but they're developing some young players there, and they're starting to come around.
Coming up about an hour from now, I'll talk to Donnie Kirkpatrick. Went one-on-one with him earlier this week. I asked him about Bayley Malovic and how does he fill out that body at some point? And Donnie Kirkpatrick said that that they knew what they got when he came in, and they had him on the training table, Jeff, and doing all the things with the nutritionist, and he was very good about doing that. But then when COVID-19 hits, you're away from the facility, away from Big John. He's almost a special case when it comes to trying to put meat on the bones, put some weight on that body, and just kind of lost that time, and it kind of got away from him, almost missing a year or an off season of trying to get bigger. And so that's going to be a kind of a process that they're going to work on every day, every year, to make him bigger, because he certainly, as Donnie said, and as you know, Jeff, has the athletic tools, right? Like, he's got the tools and the frame to do it, but he does look out of place when you see him on a football field on the line.
Well, he's got the frame because he is 6'6", if he can fill out. And he is a junior college transfer, Clip, from Highland Community College. And oftentimes at the junior college level, the weight training program is not the best, and the nutrition is not the best. So he maybe was a little bit behind when he got here because of that. And he's trying hard. He works hard to catch up. So we'll see. He's got the frame. That's why a lot of times down through the years, we've talked about this a lot, coming out of high school especially, ECU will find a kid like that who's 6'5" or 6'6", has a big frame, but coming out of high school, he might only be 220 pounds, and they bring him in here, and as you well know, there have been a lot of cases of 220-pound, 6'5", 6'6" guys coming into this program, and then in a couple of years, they're 290, and they're a starter on the offensive line. So that's what they're hoping with Bayley. He's doing a really good job, and hopefully he can continue to fill out.
Reminds me of a defensive lineman. Brian Bailey always tells me about how C.J. Wilson was a great running back in high school, and he turned into a big, bad defensive end by the time he left Greenville. Jeff, Curtis says, I never bet against guys that get up at 4 a.m. in the morning and march 10 miles every day. Well, that's a good point, Curtis.
That is a good point. These guys are disciplined. Yeah. They are a special breed. There's no doubt about that.
Curtis also asked, anyone out due to COVID? I believe the answer to that is going to be a yes. The problem is, ECU will not make it official who it is. There's enough of an issue going on that Mike Houston on Wednesday, when we usually just talk to the coordinators, came on, made a statement via Zoom, and said that they are dealing with some issues, would not go into specifics about who it was, but from what I've gathered this week, could be multiple players out. And again, we asked Mike Houston and Donnie Kirkpatrick a ton of questions about the quarterback position. They would not, address it directly, but Jeff, we've seen Mason Garcia play 3 snaps so far this year. There's I believe a pretty good chance we're going to see him take more than 3 snaps in today's game. We shall see.
We shall see when the Pirates run out there for pregame warm-ups. We'll see who is out there and who is not. You get into real sticky situations with the privacy issues, Clip, as far as releasing who has COVID and those kinds of things. And this coaching staff is very sensitive to that, as we know in their comments, really, since we've been dealing with this COVID
And they're not
situation.
alone, by the way.
Oh, no,
it's that way across the country.
It's everywhere,
yeah.
Clip. And again, it's just a tough situation for everybody, but I do think that they have had guys out this week. They won't be specific with names, but some guys are out. They had a number of guys out on Tuesday, and we'll see who is out there. I do think the good news is it looks like Josiah Hatfield, who has been out, receiver for the Pirates. It looks like Josiah is okay now, and he is going to play, and he just gives them another speedy weapon. Josiah, last year as a freshman, had 16 catches and 2 touchdown receptions, and he's a pretty good little player, and he brings a lot of speed and quickness to the lineup. So I think we'll see number 88 back out there today. That's good news.
And really, Jeff, when we talk about the COVID issues, they're going to be private about that, but injuries across the board. I mean, we don't get an injury report anymore from these football teams, so you kind of go off what happened the previous week, and now we can't even go out to practice. We used to be able to go out to practice to see who wasn't there or who was on crutches or who wasn't wearing shoulder pads. So it's kind of a secretive deal. The coaches really control the message now, and we kind of play catch up with it.
We really do, and you can go out, as I do, on Thursday afternoons and visit with Coach Houston and the 2 coordinators and get the story at that time. And then by Friday morning, everything's changed.
Sure, yeah.
And then by Saturday, here we are, game day, and everything could change. So as they say, it is a very fluid situation, but it is, and we're all dealing with this all across the country in sports and life and everything else. It's just an abnormal situation, and everybody's just trying to do the best they can. I'm just glad the Pirates are able to play some games.
Yes, sir.
Clip, because my worst fear was start and stop. They were going to play a couple of games and then stop, and that may have been an option on the table earlier this week. But then things look like, they got a little bit better, so they're definitely going to play the game today. But as we've seen, what I heard a stat the other day, there have been 32 college football games that have been postponed, and that's not good. Tulsa and Cincinnati postponed in the American today.
I was looking forward to that one, Jeff. Coming off Tulsa's win over UCF, and Cincinnati now top 10 in the country. Was really looking forward to that one. That'll be played later this year. And Jeff, the SEC came back with a vengeance, and looked like they were going to play regardless of what happened. They've got multiple postponements today, so it's happening everywhere. ECU has seen some games fall off the schedule, obviously, and it might not be the last time that's happened this season either. So it's week to week. It's day to day.
It is. It really is. And when you only play 9 games, which the Pirates are scheduled to play 9 games, Clip, the year goes by so very quickly. I mean, here we go into the 4th game of the year coming up today, and so then you only have 5 games left in the season, and the Pirates don't play next week because there's an open date in the schedule. So once they get back going with Tulsa, they're going to play 5 games. It's going to go 5 weeks, and very quickly, and all of a sudden we're going to be sitting here around Thanksgiving and saying football season's over, and that's only about 5 or 6 weeks away.
The voice, Jeff Charles, joining us here on the Bud Light pregame tailgate. The voice really heartbroken. He can't make that Friday night trip to Tulsa, Jeff. Sorry.
Oh, my goodness. We were just talking about that. 9 o'clock kickoff time, Eastern time. That means 8 o'clock in Tulsa, and that means, Clip, the football team will probably get back to Greenville about 4:30 a.m.
That was going to be
Tulsa.
my question. Wow.
About 4:30. My ETA would be 4:30 a.m. for G Vegas.
Yeah, and we'll be with you that Saturday morning right here on the Bud Light pregame. The U.S. Sailor fifth quarter call-in show. That's what that is. And our travel will be a little less than the Pirate football team, but we'll be up late with the Pirate Nation after that game.
Could be a long game, too.
Yeah, a lot of throwing, a lot of stopping.
A lot of scoring, probably.
Yeah, a lot of scoring.
And every time you go out there, and I've been out there a number of times, as you well know, Clip, it's the windiest place on the planet to play. The wind, especially this time of year, when you get into late October and November, it can be really cold, and that wind is blowing like you've never seen it before, and it's a tough place to play.
Let's take a time out, Jeff, because I want to get to your interview with Ken Niumatalolo. We'll hit that when we return. Jeff Charles goes one-on-one with the head football coach of the Navy Midshipmen. We roll on hour one of the Bud Light pregame tailgate. Back with you after this.
Chico's Mexican Restaurant is the home of the best margaritas. Grab your amigos and head to Chico's every Tuesday for the Gulp of Mexico, a huge 46-ounce lime margarita for only $6.99. On Thursdays, relax and enjoy half-price pitchers of Chico's house margaritas. Choose from lime, strawberry, blood orange, raspberry, or peach. For Mexican food and fun, it's got to be Chico's Mexican Restaurant in downtown Greenville and online at chicosrestaurant.com. Chico's, where the fiesta never ends.
Your CBD store in Greenville has the highest quality CBD products in the country. Your CBD store is the first and only brand that carries USDA certified organic products such as gummies, honey sticks, and high absorption water-soluble liquids, which are all made in the United States. They even offer products for your pet. The educated staff will help you answer any questions, and you can stop in anytime to get a free sample. Your CBD store, locally owned and operated, open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6, right beside Duck Donuts in Greenville. North Carolina state parks are now open for visitors. Parks should be used for exercise, fresh air, getting out in nature, or a day trip as the state safely reopens. Visitors should enjoy themselves, but please remember the 3 W's. Wear face coverings, wait 6 feet apart, and wash your hands often. Focus on moving through the park, keep social distancing in mind, and avoid large groups. While most facilities and activities will be open, please contact any state park before your visit with questions or visit ncparks.gov/open.
Can't make it to the game? Relax. Bostic Sugg Furniture can provide you with the best seats in the house. We have the area's largest selection of Lazy Boy motion furniture in stock and ready to go. Lazy Boy recliners, reclining sofas, love seats, and reclining sectionals in hundreds of colors, styles, fabrics, and leather, all at a very comfortable price. Remember, when it comes to Lazy Boy motion furniture, we're your ticket to the best seats in the house. Bostic Sugg Furniture in Greenville.
Hey, Pirate fans, the Papa John's menu has grown again with the all-new grilled buffalo chicken papadilla. The papadillas are part sandwich, part pizza, and are only $6. Choose from the all-new grilled buffalo chicken, Philly cheesesteak, Italian, pepperoni meatball, and barbecue chicken and bacon, all for only $6 each. Also, for a limited time, get any large 5-topping pizza for only $13.99. Place your order today online at papajohns.com and sign up for Papa Rewards. Papa John's, the official pizza of the ECU Pirates.
With rates being historically low, now is the best time to buy or refinance your home. This is Talbot Green with Angel Oak Home Loans. Now is the time to take advantage of the opportunity to buy more home or refinance your current mortgage. The combination of our local team's experience and Angel Oak's wide offerings of products from standard conventional, government, and portfolio loans has something for most financial situations. For more information, call Talbot Green, Joanne Weir, or Wanda Hager at 751-2060.
NMLS 1719250 and 685-842. Equal housing lender.
This is Mike Houston, head football coach at East Carolina University, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to the Bud Light pregame tailgate, powered by Bud Light, the official beer of the ECU Pirates, and proudly distributed by Carolina Eagle Distributing since 1989. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. Hey, watch all of Pirate Radio's local programming on YouTube Live. Go to YouTube and search for Pirate Radio TV and subscribe today. Watch Pirate Radio Live Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. and the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate, which is on right now. You can see my glorious face right now. And you can also check out the U.S. Cellular fifth quarter on game days as well. Just go to YouTube and search Pirate Radio TV and subscribe. Now let's head back into the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate. Here's your host, Clip Barat.
All right, Shirley Rhodes, a fun 4-hour edition of the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate. We're almost an hour through it right here, and looking forward to this. Jeff, and again, every year, Jeff talks to the opposing coaches, the head coaches, and it seems like his one-on-ones have kind of dwindled. It's just changed. It's not the same as it used to be. But one guy that Jeff is certainly talks to one-on-one every year is Ken Niumatalolo, and that stays the same this year. And let's hear that interview right now. The voice, Jeff Charles, with the head coach of the Midshipmen, Ken Niumatalolo.
I'll visit now with Navy head football coach Ken Niumatalolo. ECU and Navy match up at 12 noon today at Donnie Kirkpatrick Stadium, Bagwell Field. Another AAC contest. Coach, always great to visit with you. How have you been?
Good. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Let's talk about win number 100. That is a remarkable achievement. Tell us about some of the relationships you've had during the years that, culminated into this great milestone for you.
Well, I think, in life, it's all about relationships, and it's no different in coaching. A lot of former players are out doing wonderful things in our country. A lot of former players that are on our staff now that are back at the football staff working and giving back. One obviously is Brian Blick, our director of football operations, from Greenville. You know what I mean? So he's a hometown young man of your town. And so there's so many great young men like that I've had a chance to work with. Not just players, but guys that serve in different things, whether equipment managers, video guys, trainers, the midshipmen and the students to help. It's a special place, and I feel very fortunate to have been here that long and very fortunate to work with great players.
Coach, if you would, walk us back to the beginning part of the season and your BYU game. I know everybody around the country has been affected in some way with COVID. Tell us about some of the things that you guys have gone through.
Well, we're no different than everybody else. I mean, it's different. It's been a strange year, and it's obviously for the world, and everybody's trying to figure things out, how to do things, how to live. The beginning part of the year, I was back in Hawaii for the whole time having virtual meetings with my staff online from halfway around the world, so that was strange. And, getting back, our protocol at the academy is pretty strict, which for good reason, to keep our people safe, which we are. And so it was a little tough early on practicing. Our conference has some pretty strict rules, like I said, for good reason, to keep our student athletes safe. But early on, I was still trying to figure out how to practice, how to do things in light of COVID-19. And so when questions came up, I always erred on the side of trying to keep our guys safe. So we struggled, obviously the first game, that was a good team, BYU, and, we struggled physically. And we're still struggling, but I feel like we're getting better. So that's the encouraging thing. We feel like we're getting closer to Navy football, but, we're definitely a work in progress.
You guys are coming off the great year, 11-2 last year, the win over Kansas State in the Liberty Bowl, of course. You had Malcolm Perry, one of the terrific players in college football the last few years. Coach, did you think you could take that momentum from last year into this year, or is every year just a new year?
No, every year is different. You always start from ground zero. You don't look back and pat yourself in the back. If there's anything, you look back to learn and how you can improve. But in this profession, you always have to move on. You have to move on year to year. You have to move on season to season. And you have to move on game to game. We feel like very fortunate to win last week's game against Temple, who we've struggled with over the years. And to beat them last week was a great win. But that game's over with. We got to get ready for ECU that had a big win versus South Florida last week.
Coach, as we all know, sports can be really strange sometimes. There are a lot of streaks and runs, one team versus another. You guys have won 6 of the 7 games in the series, played some of your really good games against East Carolina down through the years. Is there any explanation for that, or is it just one of those things that we're not supposed to figure out?
Yeah, I wish. I don't know. I mean, we have played well, been fortunate. But like I said, this is a new year, and hopefully we can play well this time.
Coach, final question for you. Your impressions of Mike Houston's Pirates?
Just impressed with them coming back with their big win last week on the road. I mean, that shows resolve, that shows grit, to go on the road and, to get after South Florida the way they did, because I know kind of athletes and program South Florida is, and they got after them really well. QB's playing really well. I thought playing smart football. Distributing the ball, pulling it down when he needs to, running it. I mean, he's just scary right now. You just you want to play people when they're not playing very well, but I thought they played really well last week, and it's a major concern for us for this game.
Coach, it's always great to visit with you. Thanks so much, and congratulations again on win number 100.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
There's the voice, Jeff Charles, and the head football coach of the Navy midshipmen, Ken Niumatalolo. And Jeff, as I said, setting up that one-on-one, it seems like over the years things have changed a little bit, and you used to talk to more head coaches during the week one-on-one, and the access has gotten a little tougher, right? But every year these two teams meet. Ken Niumatalolo takes a little bit of time to talk with you. I think that's pretty cool that he's able to do that every year with you.
Yeah, they are so good. The sports information department at Navy is really top-notch as well, and every time I call up there and ask to talk to Coach Niumatalolo, they always say sure, and they usually give me a couple of different times and what's good for you. I mean, you don't see that very often anymore, but as we talked at the beginning of the show, he is one of the best guys in college football. He is a devout Mormon. He's very active in the LDS Church, and this is a guy who has a lot of substance to him. It's a great story as well, with him growing up in Hawaii and with the heritage he has in his family. And his father was a career military person. I think because he's been at Navy so long, Clip, everybody thinks he was a Navy guy. He played at Navy, but he didn't. He is from Hawaii. He played at the University of Hawaii and was a good quarterback there, and then started his ascent as far as his coaching career is concerned. And he's been at a number of other places before he got to Navy. He was an assistant at Navy, and he also was at UNLV. His dad retired from the Coast Guard, so there's that military influence there in his life. He's a really interesting guy. His son is on his staff at Navy now, and I just love talking with Coach. And I think one of the reasons I like to talk with him, Clip, is because he doesn't sound like a football coach.
You mentioned the military influences. The Hawaii influence is strong with him in his interviews because, Jeff, he's very laid back and kind of low-key.
That's him. He's from the islands, and he's very laid back. Yeah. And before we go on the air and start the interview, you're right. He'll always say, Jeff, so nice to see you and talk with you again today.
I can't wait to beat the Pirates by 40.
Yeah, I'm a really nice guy, but just wait till I show up on Saturday.
Let's take a time out. We'll come back. And man, we're not to turn this into a Ken Niumatalolo love fest, but I talked to Brian Blick earlier this week, Jeff, and want to play his comments about his coach and his hero, as he called him. And we'll do that and have some final thoughts with Jeff Charles here in hour number 1 of the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate. We're back after this.
Warren's Hot Dog Pizza, homemade lemonade.
Hey, Pirate Nation, Warren's Hot Dogs, 2 locations are open for business in Greenville and Chocowinity. Both locations have drive-through windows, so stop by today for hot dogs, pizzas, subs, apple and peach turnovers, homemade lemonade, and breakfast in Chocowinity, featuring homemade cheese, ham, and chicken biscuits, plus sausage dogs and more. Warren's in Greenville, across from Ron Ayers Motorsports, and in Chocowinity next to the fire department. Warren's Hot Dogs. Want some? Get some.
Are you trying to reduce clutter? Want to save a tree? Greenville Utilities can help. E-bill is a simple solution. Imagine getting an email letting you know your bill is ready. And with a few clicks on your computer or smartphone, you can review and pay your bill. It's just that easy. Signing up is simple. All you need to do is to log on to your account at guc.com and update your contact information and e-bill setting. You can even continue to receive a paper bill if you'd like. E-bill from Greenville Utilities. Just one of the ways GUC is here for you.
Hi, this is Luke Kuechly. Last season, I was captain on defense. This season, since so many of us will be watching football from home, I'm football watching with Pepsi. And you know me, I pour everything I've got into it. All right, football watchers, let's do this. Opening click-offs. Here we go. Click on, click off. Click on, click off. Stretch that thumb. You can't have finger fatigue bringing you down in the postseason. Nice job. And my favorite, second half sip-offs. Pepsi's up, lift, pull, open. Ice cold Pepsi and watching football. Nothing better.
It's not game day without a delicious, refreshing Pepsi, the official soft drink of the National Football League. Head to your nearest retailer, grab your Pepsi before kickoff, then sit back, relax, and cheer on your favorite team. Pepsi, made for football watching.
Medicare is not one size fits all, but which plan is right for you? Hi, I'm Denise Walker, and I'm a licensed insurance agent here in North Carolina. Whether you are turning 65, new to Medicare, or already have a plan, I can help you compare your Medicare options. I can help you find a plan offering low to no monthly premiums, prescription drug coverage, and a wide range of additional benefits like dental, hearing, vision, and more. Call me today at 434-531-5674 to get a no-cost, no-obligation Medicare benefits review.
You don't need a big meeting. You don't need a birthday. You don't need any excuse at all. You just need to love subs. Times 12. Order the Jersey Mike's catering box today. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
It's Jersey Mike's time. One Club Supreme? Check. What's Aaron's Way? Only $2.99 for Pepsi and Lay's? I'm in. Order your sub Aaron's Way on the Jersey Mike's app or visit a Jersey Mike's store.
This is Big John Williams, strength and conditioning coach for East Carolina football, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate, powered by Bud Light, the official beer of the ECU Pirates, and proudly distributed by Carolina Eagle Distributing since 1989. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. Listen to Pirate Radio live every weekday afternoon from 3 to 6 on 92.7 FM in Greenville and 104.1 FM in Washington, or watch on YouTube or Facebook Live. PRL is hosted by Clip Rock and yours truly, and features the latest breaking news, top-notch guests, and all of your favorite Pirate Radio personalities like Troy D. and Ellerby, The Voice, Jeff Charles, Brian Bailey, Stephen Igo, Billy Weaver, Brian North, Tony Collins, Bryce Williams, Coach Rick Smith, Ronnie Woodward, Morgan Ehlers, Mike Mullis, and more. Join us coming up on Monday starting at 3 p.m. for Pirate Radio Live right here on the Voice of the Pirate Nation. Now let's head back in to the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate. Here's your host, Clip Brock.
All right, I love the new format of the show this year because Jeff Charles rides along hour one and provides the energy, lets me wake up a little bit and get ready for a 4-hour program. And hour one went pretty quick, Jeff, so thank you for that.
You are very welcome, Clip. I enjoy coming in here, and of course we're doing it in studio this year because we're not at UBE for our Pirate Preview show, so it's bittersweet for us because we have been at UBE for 32 years with our Pirate Preview show, and hopefully we'll be back there again next year.
Jeff, we just heard your one-on-one with Kenny Amatololo. We'll get your final thoughts on this game in a moment, but wanted to play a cut from earlier this week. Had former J.H. Rose quarterback and former Navy midshipman DB Brian Blick on Pirate Radio Live earlier this week. He is now the director of ops, football ops at Navy, and asked him about Kendi Amatololo and the man he is behind the scenes and what he's like. And here's what Brian Blick had to say.
Yeah, what you see is what you get, and I couldn't sing higher praises for him. I'm just really fortunate because I work for my hero, and I mean that. Coach Niumatalolo is the best man I've ever met. besides my father and my brother. He is a phenomenal person. He leads this program and does things the right way. And I just don't have anything bad to say about him. He's just a phenomenal person. So what you see and what you hear on the radio and see on TV, that's him. There's no front. There's nothing. You're not going to come here and see anything different. More often than not, you're going to see him come into office with sandals on, and that's just his personality. But don't mistake it for that he's not a competitor.
All right.
I guarantee you this: he's the biggest competitor we have in our program, and so he really sets the tone with that. And the thing I love about Coach is he shows how you can be a competitor on the field and go as hard as you can during that play, and then in a split second turn it off and be a kind, respectable person and treat people with kindness and respect. And he's so humble. He's so humble. And honestly, I could speak about him for days. And I hope for the people in Greenville that you just get a chance to meet him one day and come up to Annapolis. Give me a call. I'd love to give you a tour of this place, this campus.
Yeah.
And hopefully you can meet him in person. He's just an awesome person. I love him.
All right, that's the words of Brian Blick, who played for him and now is the director of football operations at Navy. And, Jeff, there's so many negative stories you can find every day if you look for them in the world of sports and of course, in life. But nice to hear something like that, right? That a guy like Brian Blick has that to say about what he called his hero. He gets to work for him every day up there in Annapolis.
Yeah, well, he's first class in every regard, Clip, and I can see him with sandals on in the office too. Can't you? That was pretty good, and he is one of our favorite guys to talk with in college football. And what a terrific career he's had at Navy.
And today we want to beat him, Jeff.
Today the Pirates need to beat him. Not only today, but they need to beat him a few times to even this thing up.
How they do that today, Jeff?
Well, we talk about it every time, Clip. It's assignment football. You have to know your responsibilities on defense. I think that's a big storyline going into this game today. Blake Harrell, the new defensive coordinator, who has knowledge of this offense. Can we see improvement with a Pirate defense? Now, the problem is you got a lot of young kids out there playing who have never seen it. So that's a big storyline going into the game. How are the Pirates going to match up defensively against this offense? Because let's be honest about it, down through the history of this series, the Pirates have not done a very good job, for the least to say, about how they've played against this team. So we'll see. And then, again, we talked about the cerebral approach that they have with this defense. And, again, if it's Holt Nailers or Mason Garcia or somebody else at quarterback, they've got their work cut out for them today, Clip, as far as knowing what to expect from Navy defensively. So Pirates are playing well. They've got some momentum. They're feeling good about themselves, and hopefully that'll carry over to the game today.
Yeah, Navy's going to run the ball. Hopefully Raji Harris, Keaton Mitchell, and the Pirates can run the football for the second straight week. Be nice to see a repeat performance of that. Jeff, always appreciate you coming in. It's great to be able to talk with you one-on-one here on the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate. Have a great call today.
Sounds great. Clip, we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yes, sir. Enjoy your Saturday off next week, voice. That's right.
No game.
Yes, sir. All right, we'll take a time out, come back, and Brian Bayley is warming up, and he is ready to go for Hour 2 of the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate. That's on the way. We're back with you after this.
Hey, this is Jay from Villa Verde. Did you know that Villa Verde opened up its second location? Yes, it's Villa Verde Dos on Arlington Boulevard across the hospital. This new location is a fast, casual environment where you can make your own bowls for only $9.95. Choose from our fresh ingredients from our toppings bars or enjoy an amazing rotisserie chicken. We promise you can be in and out in less than 15 minutes. For a quick, healthy meal at an affordable price, visit us at Villa Verde Dos on Arlington Boulevard. Villa Verde, a platform for good.
Let us help you get back to business.
This is Donald Stocks
and Justin Judge of PIP of Eastern North Carolina.
We're ready to assist your business with branded PPE. Would you like face masks with your logo? We can do that. Plus custom social distancing signage.
Now is the time to ramp up your marketing efforts. Whether it's cutting edge, contactless, touchless marketing, or traditional direct mail, we can do it all.
We are PIP of Eastern North Carolina.
Wouldn't it be great if you could get auto, home, life, and business insurance all from one agency? Well, that's where the Gavigan Agency comes in. They can help protect what is important to you. So why not simplify your life? See the Gavigan Agency in Greenville or give them a call today at 252-756-1400. Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and Affiliates, Columbus, Ohio. Subject to underwriting guidelines, review, and approval.
UBE and PirateWear.com are proud to offer the Pirate Nation its largest inventory ever. Brand new Adidas is arriving daily, along with Under Armour, Columbia, and Russell Athletic. UBE is loaded with cargo, and new items are being added daily to PirateWear.com. Be sure to check out our children's store, The Crow's Nest, for all of your young pirates. UBE and PirateWear.com, an ECU tradition for 50 years. Go Pirates!
This is Pirate Radio, WGHB Farmville, 1250 and 92.7 FM Greenville, WDLX Washington, 930 and 104.1 FM Washington. You're listening to the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate, powered by Bud Light, the official beer of the ECU Pirates, and proudly distributed by Carolina Eagle Distributing since 1989. Now, back to the show.
Well, welcome back. Did you miss a show on Pirate Radio? Listen to all of Pirate Radio's archived local programming by subscribing to us on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe today by going to the podcast app on your iPhone or Apple device and search for Pirate Radio Audio Archives. Now let's head back into the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate. Here's your host, Clip Rock.
All right, hour one in the books, and welcome hour number two of the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate, getting you set for the noon kickoff between the Pirates and the Midshipmen. And breaking it down from every angle, Brian Bayley joins us inside the Pirate Radio studios. From one legend to another. Yeah. Welcome, Brian Bayley.
We were talking about that. We kind of go downhill. You got the legend, Jeff Charles, and then you kind of, I start the downhill slope.
You said you'd rather follow Igo, Ronnie Weaver.
Yeah, they're young.
Somebody other than Jeff.
They're young.
But it is great to chat with the voice, and it's great to talk to Brian Bayley.
Good to be here.
Of course, been around for all these Navy matchups, Ooh. And not many, and in fact, almost all of them have not gone the Pirates' way.
And I was listening to you and Jeff, and I had the same thing. 76, 66, 56, you think about those big numbers. And I tell this story all the time. The 76 game, I was actually leaving Dowdy Ficklin, and it was 56. I walked to my car, got in the car, turned the radio on, and they hit 76. That's how fast it went.
And that was year one of Ruff and McNeil, and you just, I don't know, I didn't see that coming, right? No. You play Navy, you kind of know that what they're going to do, but 76 was...
Yeah, you think they're going to keep the football, for those long drives, and if they do score, they're not going to score 76, I think the last year, 42 against Coach Houston in his first year, that's more, if you're going to, take a butt whipping, that's the kind of butt whipping you're expecting as far as that goes, 42, not 76.
And last year, what I didn't see coming was the offense only scoring 10 points.
Right.
And that's something that... Donnie Kirkpatrick talked about this week that they're going to have to do a much better job valuing their possessions, Bailey. They know they're not going to get as many as they do on a normal Saturday. Yeah. You got to take care of it. Yeah. You got to make them count.
Yeah, you got to make them count. You got to, it's one of those things you try. Obviously, the old adage, you try to score every time you get the football, but you really not only want to try to score, you want to drive the football. Field position is going to be a big key because, even as good as Navy is, if you have to make them go 90 yards instead of going 40 yards, it's a big difference.
That's one thing Heiko kept harping on, and looking at the drive summaries from last year, it was like Navy touchdown, 3 and out for ECU. You punt, they get the ball at the 40 or whatever, and they drive right down the field, score again, and it's not over. But man, when you get behind by 2 possessions to them, it's like 4 possessions for another team.
And the key down is first down playing Navy, because if Navy runs a play and they get 5 or 6 yards, they've got you just where they want you. And I was fascinated last week, 31-29. I didn't see the game, but I saw some of the highlights, saw the 2-point conversion that Temple didn't get, and to think that in that game Navy threw the ball twice,
2 times,
2 for 2, accurate.
And against ECU, it usually seems like it's 5 or 6 maybe.
Yeah.
And
they take a shot against East Carolina.
Speaking of making them count, they make every one of them count against ECU. It seems like they always hit one over the top.
Yeah, they lower those safeties down, and everybody's trying to stop the run, and you make one good fake to the fullback, you step back, and somebody's running free in the secondary, and that's the other thing that scares you against Navy.
Bailey, it's been even for 2020 an odd week for ECU, and at practice, and Mike Houston commenting on Wednesday when usually he doesn't talk at all, and he says that there's some issues. There's a situation.
It's a COVID-19 issue this week.
They won't come out and say what the issue is, but I think there's some fire with the smoke from what I've heard, and the Pirates are going to be without a few ball players today.
Yeah, and it's really one of those tricky situations because there's gamesmanship involved, because if you do lose a key player, you certainly don't want everybody to know it early in the week. So that there's that factor. There's also the factor that HIPAA violations and that kind of thing. You really can't talk about the health. I think the one thing that I took from Coach Houston late in the week is he said, "I'll have much more to say about this, after the game," which I think then he can say, legally or whatever. There are certain things out there that we kind of think is what's going to happen. I don't expect Holt Nailers to play in this game.
I think if he says it after the game, it's more about the gamesmanship than the legalities of it.
Well, it may be.
I would think.
But I don't know. I don't know what the legalities are. And
Right.
I don't know if you can go, the one thing, if everything plays out like we think it is, I think it's a huge disadvantage. For example, if your star quarterback turns his ankle and can't play, he's still on the sideline with a headphone on. He still brings the younger quarterback over and can talk to him about things he's seen and help and be a coach off the field. But in this situation, it's so odd that you've got a perfectly healthy individual, as far as everything we know, who can't play in the game because of this COVID-19, this coronavirus. And as Jeff said, and I agree with him 100%, we're all lucky that we're getting to see football, and we all, we thank our blessings every day. What a great sports day it is. And back in March and April, we really weren't sure if we'd ever have a sports day like this again.
And you said it a million times. You never took it for granted.
Never took it for granted, but you definitely won't now.
Exactly. And we'll do a lot of this on the pregame show today. If Holt Nailers isn't in the lineup, is it Mason Garcia? Is it Alex Flynn? And what's that quarterback position going to look like for ECU today?
I would say it's probably Mason Garcia, most certainly. And we'll see. Here's a guy getting thrown right into the fire, and he's going to have a great career at East Carolina. I think everybody would like to see that career not start for a year or two, but if it does start today, we'll get a glimpse of the future at the very least. And what a tremendous opportunity it is for a young man. But again, we'll know more when the Pirates get out there to warm up. And I totally respect everything that the coaches are going through, because they've never gone through anything like this. And Coach Houston, when he took the job, says, "I want to be as transparent as possible," and I believe that he does want to be, but I just don't think that in some instances you can be. And this is one of them.
Yeah, and it kind of goes beyond our orthopedic ceased injury report,
right?
Which, again, we don't get an injury report anymore, but we do know Deontay Smith is not going to be able to go with his injury, and also Noah Henderson's out via injury. And this is a kind of a completely different deal where you won't know, Bailey, what time do you get out to Dowdy Ficklin? I guess right when you leave here.
I'll leave here and head out to Dowdy Ficklin and kind of walk around and see who's in uniform and that kind of thing. So
and the players, what time do they start trickling out on the field?
Usually an hour and a half, 2 hours before. Some of the guys will come out and do some stretching and stuff, and then go back in, and then the team will come out later on. And
so Bailey will have his roster and be looking at who he's
filling in the blank, like an SAT test, trying to figure out who's in and who's out. And it's so unfair for the whole thing. I mean, and we don't know, positive tests, contact tracing. I hope I never hear. That's another phrase I hope I never hear again. Virtual learning. All those phrases.
Zoom.
Throw them away. Zoom. I don't ever want to do a Zoom interview the rest of my life once it's done.
I'm about zoomed out myself.
Yeah.
And it's a shame, too, because on one hand, your defense played so well last week, and you have to scrap that entire plan because they're playing Navy. And then on the flip side of this, the guys that might not be able to go today, the team as a whole played so well last week. So it's just kind of a shame that you hope momentum can carry over. But, man, you've had a lot of roadblocks between last Saturday's win and this Saturday's game.
And the way Navy blocks the option is really difficult for the players because, and Rick Smith was talking, and I want to compliment Rick Smith. I think, all of us love football, and we like to talk about it. Rick Smith knows football, and that's a huge difference because, what he says is gospel. What I say is an opinion or is something I've noticed and heard from other coaches, but I think he did a great job breaking it down. But it takes a while. It takes a series or two because you got guys coming at you at angles you never expect. And next thing, you're getting hit here, hit there, and, guys cracking back, and it's just a different way that they do things. And then you're responsible for a certain part. Or do you have the fullback? Do you have the quarterback? Do you have the pitch man? And they've expanded. I remember the option back when I was a kid, Oklahoma, Nebraska, on the day after Thanksgiving, and watching games like that. But this option, they've got guys in motion, guys going left, right. It's really to me, it's fascinating to watch. Now, a lot of people don't like option football. Coach Houston has said a number of times that he almost didn't get the Madison job because they thought he was going to bring the option, right. And he had to explain to them he was going to, bring more of a wide open attack, more of a passing 50, running 50, that kind of thing. But they were kind of worried.
And yeah, you go back to you're talking about your players not knowing what to expect until it happens to them. Also, Bayley, you got guys. When guys come back from injury, there's that mental spot that's they're a little nervous to be out there. All the defensive linemen are nervous about their knees, about their legs during the game.
You have to be.
They're thinking about that while they're also trying to make a play on the football field. And Rick Smith says it gets in their heads, and it's tough to get out of their heads.
Yeah, and if you don't stop the fullback in this offense, then you're going to be in for a long day. If you're watching the game today, and that fullback gets 5, 6, 7 yards, on first down a couple of times in a row, and that's the key to this thing. You got to stop him first.
Looks like Nelson Smith, their guy at fullback, they like to give it to 20 carries last week, 120 yards.
Coach was telling me that he's actually the backup, that the other fullback is the starter.
Crothers?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what Coach told me earlier this week, because I said the same thing, and he said, well, actually, he was the guy that came in, and he was really good. So, all right, and he may start this week. I don't know.
Better watch the backup then. He had some big numbers.
Better watch the fullback. That guy is the first guy that gets the look. That's the guy you got to watch.
Keep an eye on him. And I think the Pirates did an okay job last year on the fullback. The problem is they have Malcolm Perry.
Yeah.
Who could do whatever he wanted to with the football last year. So, good news, no Malcolm Perry for Navy today.
Yeah.
Let's take a timeout, come back. We'll have more with Brian Bayley. I got a one-on-one with Blake Harrell. We'll hear that as well. Get his thoughts on facing this option. That and more on the way on the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate. We're back with you after this.
Get your ice cold Bud Light Seltzer here. Even though you can't go to the game, doesn't mean the game can't be brought to you now here. Just go to budlight.com/delivery. That's budlight.com/delivery.
Give me 2 mangoes.
Coming at you. It's a little short. Ow. Sorry. You know what? I'm just going to walk them over to you.
Whenever there's a game to watch, there's a Bud Light there. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, and Bud Light Seltzer, IRC Beer, beer in Texas, St. Louis, Missouri.
You know texting while driving is dangerous. That's not new information. Yet most people admit to doing it anyway. Drivers are 23 times more likely to be involved in a car accident while texting. Know the facts and wait to text. The danger is real and it applies to you. Auto Owners Insurance. The no problem people. Information provided by Virginia Tech Transportation Institute.
This is Brian Smith with Town Insurance in Greenville. Call me today at 756-8300. Go Pirates!
Hey Pirate Nation, this is Tom Brown from Brown & Wood Buick GMC Truck. We've been serving the Pirate Nation in Eastern North Carolina for 83 years. We have 4 brands, 3 generations, 2 showrooms, and 1 goal to make sure you leave a happy customer.
This month at Brown & Wood, get an all-new 2020 Buick Enclave and save over $9,500 off. As always, Brown & Wood is the home of the lifetime warranty.
We're located on Greenville Boulevard next to the Convention Center, or shop us online at brownandwoodauto.com.
Sawyer's Fun Park is now open in Greenville. This state-of-the-art 40,000 square foot facility features a 2-story LED interactive laser tag, a one-of-a-kind 2-story ninja course, a ropes course with a 180-degree zip line, and it's only one of 5 in the country that are indoors. Multiple climbing walls, a super cool arcade with 40-plus games, and a brand new full-service cafe and bar for adults. Visit the brand new Sawyer's Fun Park, now open, located right behind ARU on Corey Road, Greenville.
Hey everybody, this is David Glenn, and you're listening to my favorite station in Eastern North Carolina, Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate, powered by Bud Light, the official beer of the ECU Pirates, and proudly distributed by Carolina Eagle Distributing since 1989. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. Join us immediately after today's game between the Pirates and Navy for the one and only U.S. Cellular fifth quarter call-in show. Coach Rick Smith will be in the studio, and we'll be taking your calls on the Fixed NC Live line at 317-1250, plus reading your Facebook Live comments and your tweets at PR927FM. When the fourth quarter ends, it's the U.S. Cellular fifth quarter call-in show right here on the voice of the Pirate Nation. Now let's head back into the Bud Light pregame tailgate. Here's your host, Clip Rock.
All right, Shirley Rhodes, thank you very much. Glenn Griffin, video production today on the Bud Light pregame tailgate. Coming up later this hour, we'll hear from Donnie Kirkpatrick, ECU offensive coordinator, Blake Harrell in just a moment. Hour 3, Stephen Igo, Ronnie Woodward will join me, as will David Glenn. So we will continue to roll along here on the Bud Light pregame tailgate. Don't forget, we got a big giveaway coming up next hour. How about a case of Bud Light, a $25 gift card to Parker's Barbecue, and a Pirate Radio t-shirt, koozie, and decal, all on the line, as we'll make you a winner in our next hour. We've got some Parker's Barbecue rolling in right when Brian Bailey leaves.
Yeah, you timed it right, didn't you?
Bailey hits the front door, they come in the back door.
They should.
We'll have that next hour. Bailey, if you want to drop back by like you did last time, you're
I was
welcome.
Killing time last time. Today I got something I got to go.
If you want to come by post-game, you're always welcome.
All right, good. I might do that.
We'll have some food. Great sports day. We got the Pirates and Navy at noon. Braves couldn't finish off the Dodgers last night. They'll try to do it around 4:35 today, so that'll be on during our post-game show.
That'll be tough for you, won't it?
Yeah, I got to focus. Got to stay focused. And then tonight on the Big Nine.
Yes.
You call it that? WNCT, CBS. It'll be Alabama and Georgia.
Alabama and Georgia. Yeah, that'll be fun. SEC matchup, and Georgia's a 6.5-point dog in that one. The dogs are.
What are you saying, Bailey? What side do you like?
I like Georgia. I think Alabama better learn how to play some defense, because
the Lane train was riding on them last week.
They were awful last week. So
Nick Saban on the sideline?
I think so.
Yeah,
that's what it looks like.
They were giving him every test in the book to make sure he could get on the sideline.
They gave him an alphabet test.
do your starting from Z, go backwards.
Yeah. He passed them all after that first one.
All right, Bailey. Offensively, ECU got going last week, and look, Navy's giving up. And I don't know how skewed it is. BYU took it to them. Air Force runs the ball a lot. But they're giving up a lot of rushing yards. And if you're, Raji Harris and Keaton Mitchell going into this game after last week in this offensive line, you got a lot of confidence heading into noon today that you can be able to run the football again.
I thought it looked like a totally different offensive line. I mean, I was looking at numbers saying, they got new bodies in there because they just looked like they knew what they were doing. They didn't have any busted assignments. They blocked well. The running backs ran well. They had a couple of turnovers in the South Florida game where East Carolina took advantage right away. Raji, busted it right through and got a touchdown. And when that happens, you take advantage of those turnovers, and all of a sudden a close game, which I thought the Pirates could win at South Florida, but I thought it would be a closer game for sure, and it turned into a rout.
Yeah, and that is the third time in 3 games this year, Bailey, that there really hasn't been much to watch in the fourth quarter. ECU has not been in a tight game yet. 2 have not gone their way. Last week, they were able to dominate and take care of business against South Florida, and you hope that carries over into this week, which it has been a bit of an odd week at practice for ECU with what's going on with COVID-19 testing. But you just hope that, man, that celebration last week, we played it for Rick Smith, played it for Bryce Williams, and those guys got goosebumps. I've never been in a locker room like that at the college level, and I got goosebumps. that right there shows you, and you talk about how hard the guys work, and when it pays off, man, that's got to be an awesome feeling.
And I think you heard it from Holt Naylor's last weekend. When they lost so badly to Georgia State, I mean, he was crushed, and he understands that everybody in Greenville loves him. He's a great kid. He's a hometown hero, and for them to go out and lose that game like they did, and he said, I came here to win football games, and for them to bounce back the way they did, and you could hear the joy in his voice, you could hear the joy in Coach Houston's voice in the locker room. I mean, it was just a great game that East Carolina played, and we all know South Florida's really struggling, but you gotta walk before you can run, and that's a big step I think East Carolina took with that win over USF.
And how much credit goes to Mike Houston and the players too, the staff, everybody. That Georgia State loss, I mean, losing to them is one thing, but they got dominated. Right. And that was a pretty low point, and we saw it on the face and in the words of Holt Naylor's. But to rally the troops after that and to get them to go out and play like they did last week says a lot about the staff, I think.
Well, I think the average fan would think that South Florida would be better than Georgia State, but that's not the case. Georgia State had some experience on the line. It wasn't a really good matchup. And I don't think, when Mike Houston gets this program where he wants it to be, he might still lose to a Georgia. He won't get blown out by a Georgia State. I mean, he's going to
offensively. They're light years ahead of South Florida. Right. Defensively, I think South Florida's still decent, which is why I was pleasantly surprised last week.
I just think that when they get to a certain point, that something like that is just not going to happen. You're not going to have games like that. You're not going to have games like A&T and certain things like that that's happened through the years.
They put it together last week. A solid defensive performance. Shirley, let's hear from the defensive coordinator of the Pirates, Blake Harrell. Got one-on-one with him earlier this week, and here is how that sounded.
Let's head out to the Fixed NC Live line and talk to the defensive coordinator of the East Carolina Pirates, Blake Harrell. Joins us. Coach, how you doing today?
Doing great. How you doing?
Hey, doing. Everything's better after a win, so it's been a fun week of programming here at Pirate Radio. I know it's been a fun week for you guys as well, coming off the win over South Florida. And first of all, Coach, winning's contagious, losing is contagious. How about sacks? Are sacking the quarterback contagious? 0 going into the game, and you're able to get after McLeod and the South Florida QBs 5 times. You guys were flying around on Saturday. I know you were happy about that.
Yes, Saturday was a lot of fun. I'm just so proud of our young men, our guys, just the way they played. And you could see, throughout the game, the confidence build, and the faster they played and the harder they played, and with great effort and great energy and great execution. And probably like you said, I think those sacks, after one guy got there and another guy got loose, it was kind of a little feeding frenzy for them. And that was fun to see and just fun to watch those guys go play. And we'd seen those spurts in practice, but put it together and do it in a ball game was really fun to see.
And, Coach, you got a lot more wins coming here at ECU as the defensive coordinator, but how special is that first one? I mean, do you put a lot of weight on it, or do you got another game coming up, so you had to move on from it quickly?
Well, it was fun to celebrate those guys in the locker room, and even after practice on Sunday, we had a little victory dinner. But as a ball coach, as soon as the game's over, as soon as you leave the locker room and start changing and showering, you're already thinking about the next one and how you're going to operate for that, and game plan and the best way to practice and all those kind of things. So, as a coach, you enjoy victories after the season, not much during the season.
Interesting to hear Mike Houston earlier this week. He talked about how with the disjointed offseason, you probably didn't get enough Navy prep as you would have liked, but he said since you're hiring, you guys have been talking about and preparing for this Navy matchup. So what are you able to to sprinkle in one day here, one day there when it comes to defending the option offense? How are you able to prepare for this, not just this week, but before this week?
Well, I think Navy's offense and the option is a unique offense as far as it's not something you see every week. So you have to have a plan for it. It's not something you can sit down on Sunday and come up with and figure out. You have to have an exact plan and be thinking about that way in advance before the season, which is what we did. And, once we got into fall camp, we spent daily time on Navy and the option offense. And then throughout the season, every week, we have kept that going. So, and it's just a comfort level, not only for our players, but all our coaches, seeing it and seeing how it's executed and moving on from there. So when we rolled into this week, our kids had a good base. They had a good foundation of, hey, here's the call. Here's how we defend it. Boom. And they were able to step out there and run it. And not only our defensive guys, but our scout team. Our scout team's been so awesome this week. They would stay after practice every Sunday and just get reps of running the offense, and that's been really good for our defenders. Hey, they can look across the field, across the line of scrimmage there and see an offense that's getting a really good look of Navy's offense.
And, they'll hit you up the middle with the fullback. They'll run on the outside with the quarterback or the pitch man. And everybody's got a job to do. Is there one key position group, Coach, that if they have a good day, you'll have a good day defensively? Is it D-line, linebackers, DBs? Is there one position group that really needs to have a good day on Saturday?
It's going to take everybody. And just like you said, you have the dive, the quarterback, the pitch. You have all phases to the option, double option, triple option, whatever it may be. If you certainly dominate the line of scrimmage like every week, that certainly helps. But it's going to take some linebackers to do their job. It's going to take some secondary guys to do their job. And then it all comes together once we do that.
And it was a great day for everybody on Saturday, but, man, the line, Aaron Ramsey seemed like he was everywhere. Of course, Xavier Smith, Chad Stevens, I saw his number flying around a lot. Your linebackers had a big day on Saturday, and, man, they're going to have to do the same this week, right?
Yeah, those kids are starting to turn loose and play really well. Aaron Ramsey had, kind of a breakout game for him. I knew he was peaking, and he was finally catching up with some time he missed earlier in the offseason, but he stood out, and he pops, and he's a good player, and he's starting to play like a good player. And Xavier Smith, one of the leaders of our football team, played like a leader of our football team, played like a guy that belongs here. And, other guys that flying around, Chad Stevens, as you mentioned, Josiah Wilson, all those guys are doing a really nice job as a defensive unit, and just really proud of those guys and the effort they're putting forth.
Always appreciate your time, Coach. Congrats on win number 1, and looking forward to win number 2. Thanks for joining us.
I appreciate you very much.
Blake Harrell, ECU defensive coordinator, knows the challenge heading into today's game, and I keep going back to his line earlier this week. Bailey said via Zoom to everybody that doesn't matter what he knows, it matters what his players know, and he's got to give that knowledge and insight to the players and prepare for this machine that they're going to see this afternoon.
What's the over-under on hours that he slept last night?
It's that's a low number.
I mean, do you roll over and you're like, okay, fullback, okay, somebody's got to get there.
Pitch man, quarterback.
Oh, come on.
What's I don't know. You got any keys we haven't discussed during this week or this hour, Bailey?
Some of them are the same old keys, but as we've talked about with the option, I think you got to stop the fullback first. Everybody's got to play assignment football. You got to be disciplined. If one guy isn't disciplined on one play, that can bust it for 50, 60, 70 yards. You got to keep those plays to a minimum. On offense, you can't turn it over, because if you turn it over and give them a short field and they just pound it, I was listening earlier in the week. Navy likes 4th and 1, 4th and 2. Don't look for them to punt it or kick a field goal.
That's a good point. Donnie Kirkpatrick got that interview coming up in a moment. He says it does make you think about things a little differently when you're on offense. Navy will go for it, like you said, on 4th down. Maybe if ECU has a 4th and 1, 4th and 2, they might go for it because they know if they punt it away, they're not going to get it back for a while.
Right. Yeah. So that comes into play, and it's always nice when you really have confidence in a 4th and 1 or a 4th and 2 play.
Yeah.
We see so much football every weekend, and some teams, they know they're going to get it, and some teams, it's just a crapshoot, really.
Another example of ECU being the better team last week. You had a big goal line play there, right. 4th down. Penix gets the touchdown. You had a 4th and 1, and Penix ran the ball for a 1st down. On the flip side, ECU was able to get off the field on some 4th downs last week.
That Penix touchdown, it was wide open. He caught it, and I swear I thought he was going to step out of bounds accidentally, because if he does step out of bounds, it's 4th down.
I think he was too wide open and just was out there by himself.
He's out there, catches it. He's like, oh, look at those feet. But he stayed in bounds and got the touchdown.
And Mike Houston had a good, while we're talking on Penix, he had a good question, I thought, by I think Ronnie this week about how have Penix, Mooney, those guys handled their roles now that these young kids are in town taking some of their carries. ways. And Mike Houston said he's seen it go both ways. Some guys don't like it and will check out. But there's no doubt Darius Penix has a role on this team.
Oh, yeah.
No matter how much Harris and Mitchell get the football.
Yeah, most certainly. And he's a very important part of this football team. And, out of the backfield, blocking. I mean, he's really an integral part. But, you really got to like these young running backs. I mean, they look the part, and they look like they're going to be here for a long, long time. We always forget this year really doesn't even count. So, they've got their clock is not even started yet, really.
That's right.
We're going to sneak preview from these guys.
What kind of game we're going to see today, Bailey? What you thinking?
Well, I just think it's going to be tough under the circumstances of I'm calling it the COVID curveball that the Pirates have had to face this week. But I really want to see the Navy defense against that option and see some of the changes and see some of the differences. And, I'm very hopeful that the Pirate defense can keep the Pirates in the game.
All right, Brian Bailey joining us. Always enjoy it, Bailey.
I always enjoy it.
Got Monday at noon, Brian Bailey show.
Joe Dooley's supposed to be with us.
Awesome.
So that'll be talk some hoop. Pirate basketball coming up on Mondays. That'll be fun.
Looking forward to my chat with Bailey on Monday's Pirate Radio Live. I'll play back some of the audio from Dooley and Jaden Gardner.
I always like Jaden football. I always like Jaden.
I bet you do. He's a dang on Cowboy. No, nobody's perfect. That's what I said when I found out he was a Cowboys fan.
I didn't even know it. I've interviewed him 1,000 times and never knew.
Watch this year how many interviews Jaden Gardner gets.
I'm going to Zoom with him right now. What time is it? Jaden, wake up.
Bailey's off to the field, off to Dowdy Ficklin Stadium, and we'll talk to you post-game show.
Sounds good. We'll be there.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Take a time out, come back. Donnie Kirkpatrick, talk about the offense. And, man, they got rolling last week. See if they can do the same this week. I'll also ask him a question about the quarterback. And Donnie is a complete pro. We'll see how he handles that question when we return after this.
Great food, great atmosphere, and great service is Ottavola Market Cafe. Ottavola is simply a restaurant that focuses on that, being a great restaurant. There's something for everyone at Ottavola. The menu offers a variety of great choices like pastas, pizzas, sandwiches, soups, salads, and seasonal rotating selections. Lunch or dinner, Ottavola is always the right call. Call ahead and get Ottavola to go, or stop by the bar for a drink with friends. It's simple. Come and eat at Ottavola Market Cafe, Red Banks Road next to Food Lion, and OttavolaMarket.com. Ottavola, Pirates supporting Pirates.
Do you think you might have been exposed to COVID-19? Maybe you're planning to visit parents, family, or friends. ArcPoint Labs of Greenville offers same-day COVID-19 results. No referral needed. Same-day results available. ArcPoint Labs of Greenville offers easy solutions to COVID-19 testing. ArcPoint Labs of Greenville is located across from Vidant Hospital on Executive Circle behind Southern Bank. Call for an appointment or walk in. ArcPoint Labs of Greenville, 215-5688 or arcpointlabs.com.
2020 certainly hasn't been the year many of us were hoping for, but one thing has stayed the same. I'm Tim Sutton with Greenville Auto World, and our commitment to our customers has never wavered. Let Greenville Auto World show you how easy it is to buy a quality used car in Greenville. We believe in fair prices, superior service, and treating customers right leads to satisfied repeat buyers. Your vehicle is a big investment, and our customers trust us to keep them up and running with outstanding service and value. For Greenville Auto World, cross from Hardee's at Bell's Fork.
Let's turn a trip to the branch into a tap on your phone. Let's hit pause on a lost debit card without hitting pause on life. That's how First National Bank is redefining convenience with a top-rated mobile app that puts more security and control at your fingertips and friendly people to help you succeed right by your side. Let's get started at fnb-online.com or your local First National Bank. FNB member FDIC.
If you're recovering from an injury, getting back into sports, dealing with everyday pain or fatigue, then Kinetic Physical Therapy and Wellness can help you get back on track and live well. Kinetic's award-winning staff features a TPI golf specialist that offers assessments and rehab to help you get back on the course and playing your best.
This is Dr. Shondell Jones, and you deserve to live well. Call us at 364-2806 or visit kptonline.com. Go Pirates!
Hey Dad, what's for dinner?
How about CPW's?
Is that the restaurant with the really good lasagna?
It sure is.
Is that the place we got the awesome meat pizza?
Yep, that's the place. Should we do dine in or take out?
I'm tired of eating it. Let's go there!
Just say no to cooking tonight and bring the family, or make it a date night at CPW's. CPW's is open daily at 3 p.m. and has been serving the Greenville community since 1995. CPW's in the Food Line Shopping Center near the hospital.
This is Coach Steve Shankweiler, offensive line coach for East Carolina University football, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate, powered by Bud Light, the official beer of the ECU Pirates, and proudly distributed by Carolina Eagle Distributing since 1989. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back for the latest breaking news, interesting stories, and awesome contests that can make you a winner. Be sure to follow Pirate Radio on our social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at PR927FM. Join the close to 50,000 followers today at PR927FM. Speaking of social media, follow us on Twitter at PR927FM. We're going to be giving away a Bud Light cooler, a case of Bud Light seltzer, over $125 in gift cards to local businesses, a Pirate Radio t-shirt, koozies, and a decal. That's on our Twitter page, so you follow the instructions there. And then coming up in hour 3, we're going to give away a case of Bud Light, a $25 Parker's gift card. It's early.
Parker's.
$25 Parker's.
You guys like Parker's?
Dub Bears.
So, you guys like Parker's?
$25 Parker's barbecue gift card and a Pirate Radio t-shirt, koozies, and decal. That's coming up in hour 3. Clip. Take it away.
I just love those old Bears skits. The Bears. Bears are 4-1. They play the Panthers tomorrow.
But is it a strong 4-1?
All right. If you could have Nick Foles throwing to Allen Robinson with no defenders, or Ditka versus every football team in the NFL, who would you take? Ditka. The Bears. All right. Awesome giveaway online. Awesome giveaway here in hour 3 of the show. What's up, big dog?
Little news from over at the stadium.
News.
The team has gotten off the bus, heading into Ward. No sign of the questionable person.
That's what we're doing?
That's how we're going to handle this.
What position?
Backfield.
Wow.
Some would say 25% of it.
Okay. All right. I guess we're you got to solve the clues here.
The person in question has not appeared yet.
It is a he. All right. So it
could be.
It's a male. Well, okay. All right. So
I've heard rumors. We're not going to get into rumors.
No, we're not going to get into rumors, but ECU will be affected today by COVID testing and contact tracing. And as we lead up to kickoff, we'll talk about who is on the field practicing, warming up, and who is not. So, Glenn, thank you for that.
We've got people on the ground, man. I got eyes everywhere.
Yeah, we're watching. I always feel like somebody's watching me. We're watching you. All right, Shirley, let's it was a great sight to look at that UBE stat sheet last week. And the run game got going. C.J. Johnson got going. Most efficient. We've seen Ehlers this year throwing the football, 3 touchdowns, and everything was clicking. Can that carry over to this week? There could be some changes to the lineup due to the COVID testing this week. But Donnie Kirkpatrick joined me earlier this week for a one-on-one. Let's hear what Donnie K had to say.
All right, let's head out to the line and talk to the offensive coordinator of the Pirates, Donnie Kirkpatrick, joining us today. Coach, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Thank you. How you guys doing?
Doing great. Congratulations on win number 1 for the 2020 season. And Donnie, I don't even know where to start. I guess we'll start up front where it all starts. The offensive line had a great game, and that led to a very efficient outing for Holden Ehlers passing the football, and also Raji Harris, Keaton Mitchell, and the guys running the football. Just a fantastic game for your guys up front last week.
I thought that nails it right there. You know, you travel usually with the big guys, and they had really gotten a little bit upset about week before, and probably rightfully so a little bit. And I thought they dominated the game up front, physically, run and pass. Holton had phenomenal protection, and if he has time, he's pretty deadly. And the run game, obviously, there were some nice holes in there, and it was not just one guy or two guys. It was really 6 or 7 guys that rotated in there, and they just all really did their job really, really well. And it really, really eliminated so many of the mistakes, and just the effort was just beyond what we could have even imagined. So you go out, you score first 4 times you have the ball, you know you're playing well up front.
Coach, obviously, when you bring in recruits, you want to develop them. You'd like to redshirt them. You'd like to give them time off the field to get their bodies right and get into the system. And unfortunately, in a lot of spots, you're not able to do that. And Bayley Malovic, I mean, he could end up being a great football player here at ECU. He almost looks out of place. I mean, he's so tall, he's so skinny, and you just hope he fills into that body. But you've had to throw him into the fire right now with injuries and just lack of depth at that spot. And how's he been able to hold up? Obviously, he played a good game on Saturday. How's he holding up here early in his career?
Well, he did. He played really good Saturday, and he has an unbelievable ability athletically, and he is the long, tall, guy that you want at tackle. We brought him in, and we just wanted to beef him up, and that's why we redshirted him last year. We played him in the 4 games that we were allowed to play him and still redshirt him. Unfortunately, the plan of being able to put the weight on him just has not kicked in yet. And a lot of that, I think, had to do with the pandemic that's going on. I know we all blame everything on the pandemic, but this is a situation where he was getting bigger and he was gaining weight and he was eating on the training table and he had the nutritionist, in his life every day making the menu out for him, and he was committed to doing that. And then we had Big John in the weight room, doing all the things to put the muscle mass on him. And then you don't come back from spring break and guys are gone and they don't really get back in the summer. And then in the summer, you really can't eat on the training table because you can't eat in a situation like that. You have to get a bag and go back and eat it, on your own. And we didn't get a chance to get in that weight room. And, he's a big, tall, skinny kid to start with. It probably it's not natural. It'd be a great situation. We all wish we had that. We couldn't gain weight. And he struggled to do that. And then he's so hyper and he just works so hard that he loses a ton of weight just like in a game and even in the practices. So we're trying like crazy, but we got no choice right now. He's got to be the guy. Last week he played good enough to be the guy, but if we could ever put the other 30, 40 pounds back on him, he would be an NFL prospect.
Talking to Donnie Kirkpatrick, ECU offensive coordinator. Donnie, you said last week CJ was in a good space mentally. You were ready to see him out there against South Florida. He has the big touchdown catch, adds another, and could have had more. Unlike CJ, had a drop or two there on Saturday, but looks like he's back and ready to have a big year.
Well, we were really determined. We knew we had to get CJ off to a good start, we thought, and get him going early, and we were able to do that pretty early. We had a chance to catch the touchdown early. We were trying to go to him. We had another play that was designed to go to him, and we forgot to bring him in motion. It was MA there on Holton, and so he wasn't able to get to the right side where he needed to get to run the route. We didn't get those two, but it did work out that we were able to get him on an inside fade there where we got him matched up on a safety, and we had a mismatch. And that kind of got him going, and then he had a really nice touchdown in the third quarter, too. So we didn't get him as many touches as I'd planned to try to get him, but he had really productive touches. And so I do think that just him getting himself mentally, back to not worrying about, statistics or worrying about the DB that he's playing against and just play and realize, you're not judged all on how many catches you have or how well you play. Just play the game. Do all your assignments, do what's right. When you get your chance, make it count. And he did that. He's had another good week of practice, so I think he'll hit his stride. We'll see him continue to have a big year.
Donnie, 10 points scored against Navy last year. Looks like they don't have the same team they did a year ago, but always dangerous, and they've had the Pirates number over the years. What do you see from their defense going into this game?
Well, the thing is, though, there's 8 returning starters, and they're all there. Now, I think there was a game in there where some of them had to miss with the COVID or something like that, too, That was the Air Force game, I believe. They got off to just a terrible start, obviously, against BYU. And I know their coach had some comments about, because of the pandemic, they had not trained maybe, to be ready to play that game. So I don't know. We kind of threw that one out. The Air Force game, they're an option wishbone team. They chewed them up a little bit. We kind of threw that out because it's a different style of the game. They came back and had a terrific second half against Tulane after having a really bad. But they shut Tulane down in the second half, and then real competitive game with Temple, won a close one last week. So we're expecting to get the team we got last year. I think they're probably hitting their stride. That's what we're preparing for, those 8 returning starters to be back and be just as good as they were last year. So we haven't had very good luck or success, maybe I should say, against Navy. I think we've won one game in, 9 or 11 different times we've played them. I was fortunate enough to be there for the one we did win up there. It was a great win. Been a part of some really bad losses to them, especially in this stadium. So, we have a lot of respect for them. I do think that we're not the team we were last year, that went up there and put 10 points up there early in the season. Kind of reminded me of the Georgia State game that we played. We got to find some way that second game not to play so poorly. But I'm really expecting our kids to be excited. Today was a great practice for a Wednesday. The kids acted like they were in a good place, and that's usually a good sign.
Donnie, you're taking credit for Dominique Davis's 40 out of 45 day up there in Annapolis when you got that win?
Well, I'm taking credit for, we actually did. I think that might have been the game that Justin Hardy wasn't even there. And that Danny Webster, I think, was the guy that stepped in and had to replace him and all. So, no, I'm not taking any credit for that. Dominique was pretty phenomenal, and we had a lot of good players, but it was a good win and a great atmosphere up there, and we really would like to create that again this Saturday.
Donnie, you are very interview savvy. I'll never get one by you. But let's see, how do I even try to get Donnie Kirkpatrick? What's your confidence level in your quarterback room right now if you had to send another guy out there outside of Holton Ahlers?
Well, Holton's our guy, and obviously Holton, is the leader of at least the offense, maybe more than that. So, that's a comforting feeling having Holton there because he's a guy that just, like I say, he's always studying the game. But I'm pleased. I think we had upgraded our quarterback room, and that was the plan. I brought 3 freshmen in here, and then we had 2 other returning, and Alex Flynn and Brian Gagg. Now, Brian Gagg got the COVID-19, ended up having to opt out for the year, so we lost our backup there. But that opened the door for Mason and for Alex and for Ryan Stubblefield to get more work. We have moved Taji right now to receiver because he's just too good of an athlete to be sitting around or down on the scout team, playing quarterback right now. So with that work, Alex and Mason both have really improved. I haven't been able to get them in the game as much as I wanted. Only able to get Mason in there in the last part of the Georgia State game. Then we had him warming up, him and Alex both. We go on an 8-minute drive, and so we ended up eating up the fourth quarter. We weren't expecting to be able to do that, so we didn't get him in. So I just think it's a matter of they just got to get in there. And once they get in there, I think they'll be fine, though. They prepare hard. Every week, everybody knows you're one man away from being the guy. And I know you have to keep telling them that sometimes because, I didn't get in this week. Didn't get in this week. But everybody knows, the Kurt Warner stories, Tom Brady story. That's how this all happens. And so you always have to be ready.
Finally, Donnie, and then we'll let you run, and it's obvious, but you've got to value your possessions against Navy. You don't get a lot of them, obviously, and that has got to be an emphasis this week. But how do you kind of execute that? As a coordinator, as a football team, as an offense, what does that mean to put extra value on the small number of possessions you might get on Saturday?
Yeah, that's it, exactly. I think we got like 4 possessions in the first quarter the other day. That's nice when you're getting the ball back like that. Now, sometimes that's because the other team scored, but that's okay. You like getting that ball back. You like getting that rhythm. Against them, you get it maybe 4 times and a half. So, I don't know. It's a delicate thing. You talk about it a lot. I don't know that you actually can do really anything differently except say, hey, we've got to move the ball consistently. I do think it makes you maybe think about fourth down, though, a little bit differently and being more aggressive and maybe going for it more a little bit on fourth down because they do as well. And what that does is that just changes your calls on third down a little bit in that, you might have an extra down, so sometimes you don't have to get it all. You can call the game. You can run the ball a little bit more on third down. You can do some different things. So I think that's the biggest thing that you address and that you plan for in your call sheet and in your practices.
Donnie, appreciate your time. Congrats on the win last week, and let's get another one. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you, buddy.
Donnie Kirkpatrick, ECU offensive coordinator, joining us there, and threw in a QB question, and he brought up the Kurt Warner and when Trent Green went down, and Tom Brady when Drew Bledsoe went down, and I don't know, could be potential for a different Pirate quarterback behind center today, and maybe one of those stories can be written in the lures of East Carolina. Shirley, as that interview was playing, I saw a tweet from Pirate Radio that I need to address with you regarding some tickets.
Yes, we are going to be giving away. We had a listener donate 4 free tickets to the Navy game, and we're going to give them away roughly in about, let's say about a half hour from now.
Okay, on this program?
Yes, on this program, and basically what we're going to do is we're going to take the first caller when we tell you to call in. We'll take the first caller, and you have to come by the studio to pick up the tickets.
Okay.
So that's what we're going to do, but it's going to be right around 10:30 is when we're going to do it.
All right, sounds good. We got to give away another prize pack as well, so we're going to make it an hour 2 of giveaways coming up. Or hour 3, I should say.
Yeah, we've got a case of Bud Light, $25 Parker's Barbecue gift card, Pirate Radio Parkers. Hey, you guys got any of that Parkers? See, I was watching the Braves game, and I stayed up a little too late, and I'm tired. Pirate Radio T-shirt, koozies, and decal. That's what we're giving away.
I went to sleep at like 8:30.
I stayed up later than you, dude.
Well, but wait, there's more. I woke up, and the Braves were up 2-1, and things went to hell. And then I couldn't.
Yeah,
go
I went
back
to bed
sleep.
before it went to hell, but I did stay up later than you.
I wish I could have stayed asleep and missed all that. Game 6 coming up today.
By the way, this just in: Nick Saban tested negative for a second straight test, which increases his chances that he is likely going to be on the sideline.
Wow, they're just like testing him nonstop. Just boom, up each nostril.
Alphabet test.
Just back and forth, boom, boom,
Picking
boom.
his brain.
Yep. And doing whatever they can to get him on the sidelines tonight for a marquee showdown, Bama and Georgia. All right, we'll take a timeout, come back, wrap up hour number 2 of the Bud Light pregame tailgate with Shirley Rhodes Football Masterclass Theater. That's on the way after this.
Welcome to Jack Brown's. What can I get for you?
You guys got chicken strips?
Nah, we don't have those.
Can I get a salad?
No, we don't carry salads, ma'am.
Well, what do you have?
We are glad you asked. This ain't no regular degular. This is American Wagyu beef.
These ain't your Uncle Timmy's charcoal bricks. Kiss the cook, kiss my grits.
Our burgers are 4 ounces of hand-pressed, made-to-order, perfectly seasoned ecstasy in a potato roll.
4 ounces not big enough for you, big man? Double patty time!
Or just grab a cheeseburger.
Jack Brown's, 805 Dickinson Avenue, Greenville.
Hi, I'm Annalie Newhoff.
And I'm Rob Campbell.
And we are with CopyPro. We have been locally owned and operated here in Eastern North Carolina for almost 50 years. CopyPro is the leader in office technology.
Does your business struggle with keeping printing costs low or producing professional documents? Here at CopyPro, total customer satisfaction is our #1 priority.
We have a variety of solutions to help reduce your printing expenses and make your business more productive. Call us today at 1-800-682-6558 or online at copypro.net.
CopyPro, we are the professional office systems people.
Temperatures are in the low 30s at 10 a.m., increasing sharply to 75 degrees by 1 p.m., and then dropping into the teens by 10 p.m. So before you go to work, put on some gloves, pack some shorts, and a parka. That should cover you for the day.
Your heating and cooling is taking a beating. Guarantee your family's comfort all fall and winter with a new train system. It's hard to stop a train. For a limited time, get a new train system with 0% financing for 60 months. Go to DelcorInc.com for more information. Delcor, the service professionals. See your independent train dealer for details. Call 1-888-534-6898 for details.
Hey guys, are you tired of tagging along with your wife or your girlfriend when you need a pedicure or manicure? Do you feel intimidated being the only guy in a female nail salon? If so, then I have the solution for you. The Man Cave is now open. I'm Amanda and I've opened the Man Cave to give men a spot just for them and for their grooming needs. Come relax in our comfortable masculine atmosphere and enjoy some free drinks and snacks during your nail service. The Man Cave, next to Lighting by Design on Fire Tower Road in Greenville.
Hi, this is Billy Parker, and football is here. Tailgate at home with family and friends this season and let Parker's Barbecue do all the cooking. While tailgating at your house, let us provide all the food with our delicious chicken, barbecue, seafood, and sides. We can customize packages for any size group, big or small. Give us a call today and place your order. Parker's and football, a winning combination. Also shipping nationwide at parkersbbq.com. Parker's Barbecue is how friends and family come together.
This is Coach Donnie Kirkpatrick, Office Coordinator for ECU Football, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate, powered by Bud Light, the official beer of the ECU Pirates, and proudly distributed by Carolina Eagle Distributing since 1989. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. Watch all of Pirate Radio's local programming on YouTube Live. Go to YouTube and search for Pirate Radio TV and subscribe today. Watch Pirate Radio Live Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. and the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate right now. And later on today, the U.S. Cellular fifth quarter. Just go to YouTube and search Pirate Radio TV and subscribe. Now let's head back in to Pirate Radio Live. Here's your host, Clip Broad.
Alrighty, welcome back into the program, wrapping up hour number 2 of today's show. Coming up hour number 3, Stephen Igo and Ronnie Woodward. They're in the green room ready to go. Before we get to that hour number 3, let's learn a little bit more about the Navy football program as Shirley Rhodes takes us inside an inside look at it inside of Football Masterclass Theater.
And now for another edition of your Football Masterclass Theater. Today we will talk about Navy. The Naval Academy's football program is one of the nation's oldest, with its history dating back to 1879. There were 2 separate efforts to establish a Naval Academy football team in 1879. The first was guided by first-classman J.H. Robinson, who developed it as a training regiment to help keep the school's baseball team in shape. The second effort, headed by first-classman William John Maxwell, was more successful in its efforts. Maxwell met with 2 of his friends, Tunstall Smith and Henry Woods, who played for the Baltimore Athletic Club, and officially challenged their team to a game with the Naval Academy. The year's sole contest was played on December 11th against the Baltimore Athletic Club. The opposition's team was reportedly composed of players from Princeton, Yale, Pennsylvania, and Johns Hopkins. The Naval Academy hosted the Baltimore team on a temporary field drawn on part of the superintendent's cow pasture, and rules decided upon between the teams established that the game was to be played under rugby rules. The game was closely fought and was finally declared a scoreless tie by the referee about an hour after it began. The Naval Academy would not produce another football team until the 1882 season, and that team would be the first with a coach being supported by Academy officials. Navy was one of the very few programs to field a football team during World War II, with John Welchel leading the midshipmen from 1942 to 1943, and Oscar Hagberg serving as head coach from 1944 to 1945. During those years, 3 of the 4 Navy teams finished ranked in the top 10 of the final AP poll. From 1959 to 1964, Wayne Hardin was the head coach at Navy, where he compiled a 38-22-2 record. His Navy teams posted 5 consecutive wins against arch-rival Army, a feat not surpassed until 2007, when Paul Johnson's Navy squads won their 6th consecutive contest in the Army-Navy game. Hardin coached Navy's 2 winners of the Heisman Trophy, Joe Bellino, who received the award in 1960, and Roger Staubach, who did so in 1963. Hardin was the first to coach an African-American player at Navy when Dr. Calvin Huey earned a letter in 1964. In 1973, Penn State assistant coach and Navy alum George Welsh was hired and inherited a Navy midshipman football program that had only one winning season since the days of Roger Staubach. He led the midshipmen to 3 bowl game appearances and their first 9-win season in 16 years. In 9 seasons, Welsh compiled a record of 55-46-1, making him the Service Academy's most successful coach. In 2002, Paul Johnson departed Georgia Southern and was hired as the 37th Navy head football coach. Johnson's initial season saw the midshipmen win only 2 of 12 games, though the season ended on a high note with his first victory over Army, which would not beat Navy again until 2016. The 2003 team completed the regular season with an 8-4 mark, including wins over both Air Force and Army, and earned a berth in the Houston Bowl, Navy's first bowl game since 1996. However, they lost to Texas Tech 38-14. Much of Paul Johnson's success at Navy was predicated on his triple option flexbone offense, a run-oriented attack that led Division I football in rushing yards 3 of his last 4 years at Navy. Ken Niumatalolo was promoted from offensive line to head football coach of the Naval Academy on December 8, 2007. With Niumatalolo as the head coach, beginning with the 2008 season, the Mids have continued their run of success. Highlights in 2008 included an upset in Winston-Salem over 16th-ranked Wake Forest, the Mids' first victory over a ranked team in 23 years, and a 34-0 shutout victory of Army. The midshipmen have 9 winning seasons during Niumatalolo's 11 full years as head coach. The Mids have played in 9 bowl games during his tenure, winning the 2009 Texas Bowl, the 2013 Armed Forces Bowl, 2014 Poinsettia Bowl, and 2015 Military Bowl. Navy defeated longtime rival Notre Dame in consecutive years in 2009 and 2010 for the first time since the early 1960s. The midshipmen also defeated Notre Dame in 2016 when they went on to finish with a 9-5 record. Niumatalolo led Navy into the American Athletic Conference after 134 years as an independent in 2015, the first time Navy joined a conference in the school's history. And that is a lesson from your football masterclass theater.
All right, Shirley Rhodes, letting you know what you need to know about the opponent today. And Paul Johnson. So Niumatalolo took over in 07. I guess that means that the first time ECU and Navy played in 06, Paul Johnson was still there. So
yeah.
I was not aware of that. I learned something every week, Shirley, with your masterclass theater.
What I didn't realize, though, is that Paul Johnson, I mean, I knew that triple option was kind of like his gig, but I didn't realize they didn't really run that triple option prior to Johnson's arrival. So as much history as there is with the option or the triple option that Navy does is probably more famous for now. It's relatively young compared to the football program. It's
going to be on full display today. We'll see if Blake Harrell's guys can stop it out at Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium. All right, Stephen Ayo, Ronnie Woodward are headed to Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium, but on the way, they're going to stop in here and give their thoughts on this matchup. Got those two gentlemen coming in studio next when we return hour 3 of the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate. Also, we've got 4 tickets to give away coming up and a Pirate Radio prize pack, including a case of Bud Light beer and a $25 gift card to Parker's Barbecue. All that on the way in this hour as well. We're back on the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate after this.
Hi, this is Scott Muller with Clean Eats. Carroll and I would like to personally thank all of you for supporting Clean Eats so well through these tough times. We are blessed to have such a great community helping us weather the storm. If you're having trouble consistently eating healthy, go to cleaneats.com and click on meal plans and give our tasty and affordable meals a try. Or stop by the cafe for lunch and let us show you just how simple and easy it is to get started and stay on track. Clean Eats, it's a lifestyle. 805 Red Banks Road, Arlington Village.
Hey Pirate Nation, this is proud ECU graduate and former baseball player Brandon Manning inviting you to join my team at Farm Bureau Insurance. Right now, during hurricane season, is a good time to review your coverage with a local trusted agent like me. I will make myself available before or after business hours, and my clients always have my cell phone number if they need anything. From home, auto, or life, give me a call today and let's talk about your insurance coverage and about the Pirates. Call 531-1812 and go Pirates!
The Frells family lives on a lush piece of land called Greener Pasture, and they work on it behind the wheel of a John Deere 1 Series tractor. With its durable construction and features that hook up to dozens of attachments with ease, no job is too tough. The Frells family runs with us, because this is more than just land, it's home. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Get quality at every turn with Quality Equipment, your local John Deere dealer, with 27 locations in North Carolina and southeastern Virginia. Find out more at QualityEquip.com.
Domino's week-long carry-out deal means you can carry out 3-topping pizzas for $7.99 each every day. That's right, $7.99 each, and every day means any day. But just in case there's any confusion, we've set up a helpful website to confirm if today's a day you can carry out 3-topping pizzas for $7.99 each at Domino's. Just go to howaboutoday.com to find out if Domino's week-long carry-out deal is valid today. Spoiler alert, it is. Carry out only. You must ask for this limited time offer. Prices, participation, and charges may vary. Excludes extra large and specialty pizzas. Crust availability varies by size.
This is Pirate Radio, WGHB Farmville, 1250 and 92.7 FM Greenville, WDLX Washington, 930 and 104.1 FM Washington. You're listening to the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate, powered by Bud Light, the official beer of the ECU Pirates, and proudly distributed by Carolina Eagle Distributing since 1989. Now, back to the show.
Well, welcome back. Listen to Pirate Radio every weekday afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on 92.7 FM in Greenville, 104.1 FM in Washington, or you can watch on YouTube or Facebook Live. PRL is hosted by Clip Rock and myself, and features the latest breaking news, top-notch guests, and all of your favorite Pirate Radio personalities like Troy D. and Ellerby, The Voice, Jeff Charles, Brian Bailey, Stephen Igo, Billy Weaver, Brian North, Tony Collins, Bryce Williams, Coach Rick Smith, Ronnie Woodward, Morgan Ehlers, Mike Mullis, and more. Join us coming up on Monday starting at 3 o'clock for Pirate Radio Live right here on the Voice of the Pirate Nation. Now let's head back in to the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate. Here is your host, Clip Rock.
All right, hour 3 of the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate is on the air. A big hour it shall be. We've got some giveaways at the end of this segment. We're going to give away a $25 gift card to Parker's Barbecue, a case of Bud Light, and a Pirate Radio prize pack, including a T-shirt, koozie, decal. All of that can be yours in just a little bit. And then later on around 10:30, we're going to give out 4 tickets to ECU and Navy. So a big hour of giveaways and a big hour of content coming up, too, because Stephen Igo and Ronnie Woodward are here, both looking great. And Igo earlier this week on a message board was called Homeless Dressing Blonde Kid.
That's right.
He really took that to heart and has come in here looking fantastic today.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I had to go buy some clothes because I didn't have anything in the closet. So
the Mariners T-shirt and those camo shorts you always wear.
Yeah, I love rocking camo. Honestly, I think I'm going to go full camo for the Pirate Radio Live going forward.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say for the Navy game today in honor of the military.
That would be entertaining.
What if you showed up in full fatigues like Miami when they got off the plane back in the day? Like Sergeant Slaughter.
Nice
Ronnie
pull.
using the reference, the wrestling reference there. All right, guys, it has been a different week covering this football team. Again, we're not able to go out to practice to see who is practicing, who's not practicing. So all we can rely on is what the coaches tell us, and then hearsay, sources, rumors, all of that. So, Stephen, Mike Houston did come out on Wednesday. You guys did a great job peppering him with questions.
Troy, Stephen, and me.
Yeah.
Back to back to back.
Yep. Just trying to get whatever you could. He would not be specific, but Stephen, how much will COVID-19 contact tracing impact the Pirates today?
I think it'll impact them a lot. I don't want to get into the specifics as far as who's out, but I think you'll see around a handful of players not play due to COVID.
Now, what's your definition of a handful or around a handful?
That just depends. It's all relative.
How many players can you hold in your hand? Well, you've got 5 fingers.
You got 5 fingers, so I would think it's similar to that number.
Okay. All right. There you go. We're getting somewhere here.
There we go.
Bottom line, though, it will be an impact.
Yeah, I mean, it's you're going to be missing some guys, and we'll have the list closer to kickoff, I think, once they get out there and are warming up. But honestly, compared to what we were hearing earlier in the week, I'm just glad the game's being played.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a legitimate chance based off what was happening earlier that the game wasn't going to be played. So for the game to actually be happening, I think is a positive. And you don't want to say best case scenario because you're still missing guys, but at least they do have enough key guys to go out there and play.
Ronnie,
Yeah.
anything to add?
Yeah, it's interesting. You could make the argument. Yeah, I don't know. To some extent, is it best case scenario or worst case scenario? Is the best case scenario, if depending on the players and the impact, to not play the game or postpone it. But I think you're right. In reality, they get to play. And you look at Cincinnati. Who was it? Tulsa.
Yeah.
Which is interesting in itself because that's ECU's next game, 2 weeks away. But still, but it was Cincinnati's issues, I guess.
Yes.
Tulsa wouldn't be directly affected, but nonetheless, that was canceled the day after we had the big Mike Houston presser. I think last night I saw the Southern Miss and somebody was canceled yesterday. So, or not canceled, postponed. So yeah, I mean it's the SEC stuff was going on all week. So yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I'm glad there's a game today. We get to cover a game. The players who are available and healthy get to go compete. Everything that we've heard, they've had a good week of practice. They've tried to rally around it. But again, the reality kind of hits you in the face a little bit too of how trying of a week I'm sure it's been for the coaches, and they haven't been able to fully practice really, and you're switching things around, as Coach Houston said, with personnel, and not the way you draw it up, especially a team like Navy that's tricky. But Navy's had issues too. So what I'm getting at is everybody's dealing with this in different ways. The ideals, the hypothetical we all threw out 2 months ago is what happens when your starting quarterback can't play. That's where the kind of worst case scenario comes in, but you got to move on, so we'll see. Warm-ups will be the most interesting warm-ups maybe in Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium history, and we'll count it out and see who's out there and who's not. But yeah, there's going to be some guys we have a feeling.
So you guys will be out there seeing who is in uniform, who's on the field, who is not, and going over your roster and checking them off or exiting them off.
I have 2 points to make, by the way. Don't let me forget before I leave.
You also have
random too, Ronnie, points.
Okay.
You also have injuries too, so that's the thing is you got guys who will be out due to injuries and guys, due to COVID-19 contact tracing, whatever. So
the injuries on the Orthopedics East injury report include Deontay Smith still out. Noah Henderson to tackle. Josiah Hatfield, I guess, off that injury report and hopefully back in.
Sounds like Bruce Bivens will be back this week. He traveled last week, but he didn't play, so I don't know if he's quite 100%. But a couple of the guys who have missed the last few games, Juwan Powell, hasn't played since the opener, and there are a few other guys banged up. And
what about McMillan, Jaquan McMillan? Is that just like a lingering deal? Maybe he's going to have to deal with the pain.
Yeah.
Somebody, I haven't confirmed this, but somebody told me turf toe.
That's what Jeff Charles said earlier in the show. They put some kind of steel plate in his cleat or something to help him, and so that's it sounds like something that it just kind of sits with you and you play through it.
That's something that unless you just take 2 weeks off, it's going to linger. So hopefully they can get through the bye and
the
really.
Bye week, yeah.
The bye does come at a good time.
That's a good point.
With these COVID issues and with the injuries.
Yeah,
they're pretty banged up. You got guys who are going to be playing today that are banged up. So I think it's important for them to get through this game. It'd be awesome if they could get a win. I think either way, Mike Houston in the post game is going to reflect on how trying the week has been. He's either going to be, if they win, man, I can't believe how our guys are rallied around this, or we just had a lot of issues. Plus facing Navy was kind of a perfect storm. So I think the post game will be interesting either way.
I think Tuesday I asked him too. I was probably a week early or 4 or 5 days early when I asked him, what have you learned since the first game? I think now it would be a relevant question. Maybe not post game because that's kind of so in the moment. But what did he learn this week about handling COVID or handling practice? I mean, I think they've probably learned a ton, to be honest. And that can only help you moving forward, because are they going to have – is it going to be a clean slate from here? I have my doubts. Again, everybody's dealing with it. So, unfortunately, if you go through a week like this, maybe whatever. It's not as much of a shock or as much of a distraction the next time. I don't know, but yeah, I think that's the question to ask big picture at some point too.
All right, Igo, you need to leave at 10:30, right? So
yes.
Shirley, can we get a break here? We'll come back and talk more to Ronnie and Igo. Ronnie's got his 2 points to make that I can't let him forget.
Yeah.
Clint says, fellas, what are we going to do about the triple option? We'll let you guys answer that.
That's a great question.
When we'll return.
Stop the fullback.
As we go to break now.
And they're here, by the way.
The tickets are in hand. We'll do that at 10:30-ish. Right now, Shirley.
Let's do...
this is a booty bag exclusive.
Booty everywhere.
All right, caller 12 right now wins a case of Bud Light, a $25 Parker's Barbecue gift card, and a Pirate Radio t-shirt, koozies, and decal. Must be 21 or older to win. Give us a call, 317-1250, and that prize pack can be yours. We're back with more on the Bud Light pregame tailgate after this.
Get your ice cold Bud Light Seltzer here. Even though you can't go to the game, doesn't mean the game can't be brought to you now here. Just go to budlight.com/delivery. That's budlight.com/delivery.
Give me 2 mangoes.
Coming at you. It's a little short. Ow. Sorry. You know what? I'm just going to walk them over to you.
Whenever there's a game to watch, there's a Bud Light there. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, and Bud Light Seltzer, IRC Beer in Texas, St. Louis, Missouri.
Here with Mike Mullis from Fixed NC. And Mike, you were telling me the other day, people ask you all the time, I didn't know you did that. What does that mean?
You know, anything that involves property damage repair, call us first. If it's your crawl space, you've got interior humidity issues, a water loss, your ice maker line breaks, obviously fire and smoke, everybody knows we do those. But anything that involves interior or exterior property damage, we're your repair experts.
Mike, how can everybody get in touch with you?
252-999-0001 or fixednc.com.
Hey Pirate Nation, this is former ECU tight end Bryce Williams from my friends at the Auto Store Group. If you're in the market for a quality used vehicle, then the Auto Store Group is for you. The Auto Store Group has 3 locations and over 150 quality used vehicles to choose from for all budgets. Shop their entire inventory today at theautostoregroup.com. The Auto Store Group, your hometown store and Pirate owned and operated for over 38 years. Go Pirates!
Banking is banking until service is not the same. This is Eric Clark from Select Bank and Trust, and this year has been unusual, but we have continued to focus on what has always been important to us, our customers. When businesses needed access to the Paycheck Protection Program, our team of local bankers worked around the clock to successfully keep our customers open and their employees working. Wouldn't you like to deal with a bank that is responsive to your needs, can make local decisions, and cares about you, the customer? We are Select Bank and Trust. Bank local, bank select.
Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Pirate Radio.
You know, I think this is a pretty blue-collar, tough, hard-nosed fan base, and that's the way our teams are going to be.
The voice of the Pirate Nation. You're listening to the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate, powered by Bud Light, the official beer of the ECU Pirates, and proudly distributed by Carolina Eagle Distributing since 1989. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. Did you miss a show on Pirate Radio? Listen to all of Pirate Radio's archived local programming by subscribing to us on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe today by going to the podcast app on your iPhone or Apple device and search for Pirate Radio's audio archives. Now let's head back in to Pirate Radio. Oh, no. It's the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate. I don't know which show I'm doing today. Man.
You're kind of busy.
Look, the phones are still ringing.
Who won?
Oh, yeah, who won? Who won? Lance Parker of Snow Hill.
All right, Lance Parker.
Snow Hill.
Start making that drive.
Cliff Godwin's?
No, Lance won the beer and Parker's. We're giving away tickets in 10 minutes. So, folks,
he could start making the drive to come get
and get the tickets.
We were talking about this off the air. Like, it's got to be somebody local.
What's the radius?
We announced this via Twitter like 45, 30 minutes ago. Like, what if somebody just started driving from Raleigh? Like, look, we're going to win these things. We're going to speak it into existence. We're going to win it.
You should have made that the contest.
What?
Whoever is driving
here
the longest
first
distance and get here first.
Yeah, but then
that would have created chaos.
We'd have like wrecks outside, and people. But no, that would have been a good contest idea. All right, we'll give away 4 tickets coming up after this segment. Let's go back to Clint's question. How are we going to stop the triple option? A lot of different answers there. But in your opinion, I'll start with you, Steven. Like, what players are most important today? What position group? Who needs to play the best on ECU's defensive side of the ball to stop and contain that triple option?
Safeties, outside linebackers. To me, I think the fullback dive, if you do your assignment up the middle, you can take it away. But the safeties and outside linebackers have to be able to get off blocks and make tackles in space against the slot backs and the quarterbacks. So I do think ECU's game plan, I don't know it, but I based on the stats and based on how Navy is this year, I think you have to commit to taking away the dive based on how they did against Temple. Their quarterback through 3 games has 25 carries for 30 yards.
That's crazy.
I mean, compare that to Malcolm Perry last year, and it's night and day. So I'm not saying he's not capable of running, but he's clearly not the threat if he's in at quarterback to beat you to the outside that Malcolm Perry was. So, that's important to take away that. But then, the safeties have the toughest job on the field because they have to come down 50 times a game, take on the block from the slot back, and then those 5 times where the slot back acts like he's going to block you and then he runs past you. I mean, those 5 plays can make or break you as a defense. So, and it's something you have to be prepared for. And it's something the ECU got beat on last year. So,
CJ Williams.
Yeah, CJ Williams.
He's the kind of their guy that does that.
I feel like when ECU and Navy play, we see 5 to 6
last
passes.
year, 5 of 7, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the other 2 incompletions were misses to wide open guys.
Only 2 passes last week, Navy against Temple, but and that could have to do with who's playing quarterback this year too. Yeah. So how many passes do you think we see today, Ronnie?
I think, more than 2 for sure. The other thing, too, I thought about this week and wanted to say this. I remember last year in the press box, I remember talking to Steven about it, that Navy didn't even run the option. Like, it was literally, there was no option.
It was just quarterback.
They ran backyard, quarterback's the best play.
It was. There was no, fake handoff. It was like slot back, fullback, go that way, and we're running like a quarterback power. It was like Tim Tebow. There was no option. So I remember last year being like, this is not the triple option. This is, hey, man, this is our guy. We're going to block you, and you're not going to stop him.
And ECU just couldn't beat.
They couldn't do it.
They couldn't get to the quarterback on
and when they did, he just spun and juked and ran for 20 yards. Like, it was an amazing performance from him last year.
So early in the year, we didn't really know how good Malcolm Perry was because they had played like Holy Cross or something that first game, didn't show a lot. Second game, ECU clearly comes out to take away the dive,
the normal option,
and the option, and they just couldn't stop Malcolm Perry.
Like, the fullback literally never got the ball. He was just a blocker. He was like Perry's fullback. It was really weird. So I think this is being much more traditional, true option, starting with the fullback. And I think watching out for the pass. You always say that, but I think that's how they beat Tulane early in the year. They were hitting these play action passes, and that's how they can't come back and kind of rallied. So I think there's a lot more to defend. Where last year it was Malcolm Perry, and he led them to 11-3 or whatever it was. So
Navy's going to run the ball today. Navy has been giving up a lot of rushing yards this year. Some of that has to do with the way BYU bullied them week 1, but also playing Air Force will skew the stats a little bit. But look, the way the Pirates ran the ball last week, how confident are you in that ECU can continue that today?
I'm pretty confident they'll be able to get some push on the line of scrimmage. Navy is just not very big in the trenches. We talked about this on the earlier this morning, I think in the lobby, Ronnie, about their linebacker Diego Fago. He missed the last game. He's one of the better players in the American defensively. He's kind of the heart and soul of that defense. So we've been talking so much about ECU's warm-ups. How about Navy's warm-ups? They were down both starting linebackers last week.
Their nose guard was out.
Yeah, so
their defense is depleted.
That's something that to monitor as well. I'm sure they'll stack the box and force ECU to beat them with the quarterback situation. But, if it's Mason Garcia in there, he's got the strongest arm in the program. I would take some deep shots to back them off and just see what happens. But I do feel pretty good about ECU being able to run the ball.
And how about if Mason's the guy, how much is he running the ball
I
today?
think a good amount. He's,
maybe we go quarterback sweep, quarterback power, Ronnie.
You have whoever, Harris, Trace Christian. Those are big guys.
Yeah.
Him blocking.
Lead
those
blocker.
two blocking. Run the option on Navy.
Yeah, Mason Garcia, when I saw him last year in high school, I knew he was a good passer, but I was blown away with his legs. Like, he's a better athlete and probably a better runner than Holton in terms of speed. Holton's got more power, but Mason he's a big dude, man. He's gotten even bigger since high school. I mean, he's listed at 6'5", 236 pounds. That is a giant human being. He'd probably be one of ECU's best defensive ends if he played defensive end.
He's bigger than the right tackle, right?
Basically, he's 20 pounds. He's 20 pounds less than ECU's starting right tackle. So maybe I tell you what, Malovic's pretty athletic. Maybe they get the little sweep going, get Malovic out in space, leading the way for Mason Garcia. I think we'll see a lot of that today.
Yeah,
and it simplifies his job if he's able to run. It's kind of like we saw early in Holton's career.
I don't want to jinx it, but how long do you think? Over under 3 hours and 1 minute?
Oh man, this is gonna be awesome. Like noon kick.
Yeah, you're going under.
Run that
under.
thing, man. Heck yeah.
Again, I don't want to jinx it, but it has potential to be a pretty quick ball game.
How long was that 76-35 game?
Good point. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if that shows up like in an old box score or something.
And the good news clip, I saw you tweet, and I did as well. The good news about Tulsa being at 9 o'clock was, I'm taking the under all day today. That was like the football gods, media gods helping us out.
Wait, what? What are you saying?
Enjoy today.
Oh,
It's going to be a quick game.
Right.
Then you have a bye week. Then we have the disaster at the 9 p.m. start. But, don't worry about that. We'll get to that 2 weeks from now.
By the way,
is a quick game. It's at noon. We're good.
I'm looking at the that 2010 game. I've never had to scroll down so far.
That's the longest box score, the longest scoring summary I've ever seen.
3 rushing yards, is that right? It was 530. I looked it up earlier this week.
They had 596 total yards.
Let's go
I'm
full.
sure the majority
I think it was
was
530.
Ricky Dobbs.
That was the Ricky Dobbs game.
6 of 8, 2 touchdowns. Alexander Teach, 14 carries, 157 yards. They had 521 rushing yards.
521
in that game.
I mean, their fullback averaged 11.2 yards a carry.
What if I told you Dominique Davis had 5 touchdowns, no interceptions,
and ECU lost by
413 yards, and ECU lost by 41? Just an insane.
That was they kept fumbling that game. That was the biggest problem. They would Navy would score, ECU would get some momentum and then fumble around midfield, and then next play fullback
Alexander Teach up the middle.
Yep.
It was unbelievable.
Let's see, 4-1 turnovers. You're right. That is a key for today.
Yep.
ECU won all. Rick Smith has all these coaches' goals going into every game. We would go over them after the first 2 games of the year. Didn't win many of those. Last week they checked all the boxes: turnovers, sacks, hold an opponent under 100 rushing yards, rush for more than your opponent, everything. And turnovers was a key part of that last week. And getting at. But again, this is a completely different challenge than the offense we saw last week.
I heard y'all talk about it. What is the realistic goal for Navy rushing yards over under?
I think you said 300, right?
250. Yeah. I feel like 250 is. If you hold them under 250, you're in pretty good shape.
Hell yeah, I'll take that right now.
Yeah.
I think Temple pretty much didn't allow that much. Navy just couldn't. They couldn't get Navy off the field.
Right.
It was classic 3.5 yards per carry.
That was another stat they won last week. Time of possession.
Yeah,
ECU had 34, 36, something like that. So. Again, the Pirates, I just hate that this game is right here. It felt like they had something last week, defensively especially, and Blake Harrell's got to scrap that whole plan and save it for Tulsa a few weeks from now and go with this option defense. Again, it was neat to hear Mike Houston and Blake Harrell talk about that how much they've been preparing for it, and Mike Houston basically said since, the phone call to ask Blake Harrell if he wanted the job, offering him the job, they got going right then on preparing for this option attack.
I still go back to Blake Harrell before he got these Carolina job. Every college coaching job he had, the offense ran the triple option.
Yeah.
So, he's seen it every day in practice for 15 years or however long he's been in college until this year. So the toughest thing is, can ECU replicate the scout team?
I asked Rick Smith that, okay, you're teaching your defense about the Navy offense. Who's teaching the scout team how to run the option?
Yeah.
And you do have some option coaches, obviously, led by the head man, Mike Houston. So
yeah.
And again, this to me, this is a traditional option team.
More so than
That
last
Navy
year.
thing last year, I'm just not convinced was
that one of your 2 points?
No, it wasn't.
All right. Well, what are your 2 points?
One, has ECU football's offices contacted Pirate Radio at all about the Atticus rant?
No, I don't believe so. Why?
Because I think it'd be a really good pregame, like Mike Houston. Y'all played it all week, and every time I hear it in the car, I'm like, man, that was really good.
I don't think they can talk about gambling.
Well, they could have just said
no, just the part about yeah,
the whole thing.
Yeah,
the whole thing.
It was perfection. There was no stutters. It was
All right, let's play it real quick, Shirley.
was
If
awesome.
you got it, let's hear Atticus real quick. I'll go if you need to leave.
You
You
get
can
with
leave.
every
I want to hear it
single
again.
financial advisor that you have within the next week,
Mm-hmm.
and you need to take out every single loan that you can possibly take, every dollar you can take out of the bank, and you need to put it every single penny that you own on the Pirates against the Naval Academy next week. Because I tell you what, Mike Houston has the boys rolling, and we are going into Daddy Ficklin Stadium next week, and we are steamrolling the Naval Academy, and we're going to win free money, and that's a guarantee from Prodigy.
All right. So again, thank you, Atticus. You
Mike
can't play the
Houston
gambling
just,
part. There's a little clip you can get in
He
there.
could have just hit play
All
and
right.
then go. I don't know, man. If I was a player, they'd be like, I don't know this kid, but I'm ready to roll.
I think Navy's playing that in their locker room, saying,
that's
"Look,
true. The reverse effect.
That's-
Then you can blame Atticus instead of giving Atticus the credit.
either way, we're blaming or giving credit to Atticus."
It's got to play a role.
All right, that was point one. What's point two?
Okay, I'll keep this one quick. Try. Point two. This is my, if it happens, I'm going to brag about it on Twitter, and it plays into my late 90s, early 2000s when you always call me out for living in the past.
Rhonda.
UNC, yeah, I know. That was a good tweet the other night. You got me. But UNC, right? Number 5 in the country.
Yeah.
Florida State. We've seen this before.
Oh.
In 1997, UNC was number 5. Dre Bly, their best team ever. Mac Brown.
Greg Ellis.
Rolling into it. And Thad Busby and young Peter Warwick and Florida State with 30 All-Americans said, hold on, guys. We're Florida State. And they took them out. So I'm just saying.
Is Peter Warwick showing up tonight?
How many All-Americans do they have right now, Rodney? You live in the past. Wait,
I'm leaving before he finishes this point.
All right, bye, Steven.
If it's right.
You look great today.
You look great.
Thank you.
I'm going to brag about it on Twitter. If it's wrong, I'm going to ignore it. I'll admit
What are you calling for? An upset or a tight game?
I think they're going to fight. I don't know what that means.
All right.
But if I was Norvell, I would have brought in Travis Minor and Thad Busby and Danny Cannell.
I do like hearing those old names.
I mean, I watched the game, not the game. I went to the YouTube, and I was like, they're stacked.
Tamarick Vanover? Did he play for Florida State?
Yeah. EJ Green was their best receiver on that team, and then Peter Warwick was in the slot, just crushing UNC's defenders, and he was a freshman. I would have had them show up at practice this week and be like, look, you're Florida State. They're North Carolina. Fight. I think be Florida State for one night at home, prime time. For one night. You don't have to do it every week because they're clearly not interested in doing it every week.
But they
have more talent.
They need to have a packed house, and they need to have the guy riding in on the horse.
Yeah.
Sticking the flaming spear, it's got to have all that. But I don't know. I think every week you should do a nostalgic pick.
Yeah.
I was hoping you'd come in here and say,
I was clearly right about mine.
90s Braves, they're still wearing those uniforms, and this is they're going to beat the Dodgers.
I mean, Miami Clemson, I was all over it, right?
Clemson, more about.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But tonight, if it's close and Florida State channels, it's
play this back.
1990.
Yeah.
97 in particular. It was number 5 UNC, rolling, best team ever. This is going to be great. And Florida State hit them with, hold on, know your role.
This will be a great segue into our next segment. We got David Glenn coming up. I'm going to bring that up to him.
1997.
And see what he has to say about it.
See what he says.
All right. I tell you what, we'll take a break. As we go to break, Shirley, let's give away some tickets to ECU and Navy at noon. So you still got an hour and a half to pick these up and make it to the game.
You got to be the first caller.
All right, 317-1250. First person that calls in wins 4 tickets to ECU Navy for today's game. Ronnie, thanks for joining us, man.
You got it.
Stay tuned to Ronnie's Twitter at RonnieW11. He'll have updates on who is on the field, who's not, warming up before this game. All right, 317-1250 if you want the tickets. We're back after this.
Looking for your next career opportunity? How about some extra cash to help pay for school? Your locally owned and operated Dixon Foods McDonald's is hiring, and they would love to have you as part of the McFamily. They offer flexible hours, competitive pay, and financial support to pursue your education through McDonald's Archways to Opportunity program. Come join the family at McDonald's. Don't let this financial opportunity pass you by. Please visit DixonFoods.com to apply.
Ahoy, mateys! To keep those cars clean, you need the Pirates Cove Fast Pass.
The new Pirates Cove Car Wash and Haviland Express Lube on Glenburnie Road in New Bern is now open. Pirates Cove in New Bern is offering Fast Passes for $9.99 for new Fast Pass customers. You can visit us in Greenville on Fire Tower Road, Memorial Drive, and on East 10th Street, and get a Fast Pass for only $9.99 at the new location on Glenburnie Road in New Bern.
So we have you surrounded. Pirates Cove, the official car wash partner of ECU Athletics.
Hidden phone trade-ins, hidden plan requirements, hidden catches. You won't find them at US Cellular because we speak fair. Plus, when you switch right now, you can get the latest phones free. Upgrade to Fair. Upgrade to US Cellular. Requires new postpaid service plan, new line port, and credit approval. Qualified smartphone purchase and comes via monthly bill credit on a 30-month RIC. Taxes, fees, and additional terms apply.
Does the idea of going to your local U.S. Cellular store make you feel a bit uncomfortable? Tired of the hassle of waiting and wearing a mask? Let Toby Williams and its outside sales team take away that worry. They will come right to your home or office and drop your phone off on the porch or at the front desk for you. Saving you time and worry is what the team at Cellular Warehouse is all about. Call Toby today at 252-799-7051 and let them help you with all of your wireless needs. Cellular Warehouse, your local U.S. Cellular authorized agent.
Your CBD store in Greenville has the highest quality CBD products in the country. Your CBD store is the first and only brand that carries USDA certified organic products such as gummies, honey sticks, and high absorption water soluble liquids, which are all made in the United States. They even offer products for your pet. The educated staff will help you answer any questions, and you can stop in anytime to get a free sample. Your CBD store, locally owned and operated, open Monday through Saturday 10 to 6, right beside Duck Donuts in Greenville.
This is Sam Jones inviting you to join us for lunch, dinner, or takeout at Sam Jones Barbecue. At Sam Jones, you'll find our smokehouse pumping out fresh food cooked over wood every single day. That's our Eastern North Carolina whole hog barbecue, slow-cooked chicken, smoked turkey, and spare ribs. There are no freezers here. Everything, and we mean everything, is made fresh daily, including our sides, sweets, and sauces. Come on over and see us at Sam Jones Barbecue, and I'll bet you'll be able to taste the difference in just one bite. Sam Jones Barbecue, Fire Tower Road.
Hi, this is Phil Steele of Phil Steele's College Football Preview Magazine, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of Pirate Nation.
You're listening to the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate, powered by Bud Light, the official beer of the ECU Pirates, and proudly distributed by Carolina Eagle Distributing since 1989. Now, back to the show. Now, with the Pirate Radio scoreboard, here's Shirley Rhodes.
All right, there's several games of interest that'll be kicking off at noon, along with ECU and Navy. West Virginia is going to host Kansas. South Florida is at Temple. The Miami Hurricanes will be hosting Pittsburgh. Kentucky is at number 14, Tennessee. Number 1, Clemson will be at Georgia Tech, and number 13, Auburn will be at South Carolina. Coming up at 2:30, Louisville will take on number 5, Notre Dame. At 3:30, it'll be Duke and NC State, as well as an AAC matchup between UCF and Memphis. Coming up at 4 o'clock this afternoon, it'll be 21st-ranked Texas A&M against Mike Leach's team, Mississippi State, trying to get off the schneid. And then also at 4 o'clock, it'll be Virginia taking on Wake Forest. And that is a look at your scoreboard. Now let's head back into the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate. Here's your host, Clip Baron.
All right, thanks, Shirley. Schneid is such a great word, and you used it beautifully there.
You know, anytime I can sneak in the word schneid, I'm on it.
Who won the tickets?
Oh, yeah. Congratulations to Steve Fuller of Greenville. Got the tickets, and he's actually on his way to the studio as we speak.
En route. All right, well done. Congratulations, Steve. ECU Navy coming up at noon on ESPN2 and ESPN Plus. And we'll talk about that one and more. Big game at the Liberty Bowl, by the way, you just mentioned there, Shirley. Either UCF or Memphis will have two losses after today. The loser of that game in conference play. All right, DG, David Glenn, joins us on the Fixed NC Live line to talk some football and go over the Saturday slate. David, how you doing?
I'm great, and I would like to applaud Shirley on that outstanding use of the word schneid as well.
Shirley, your schneid work today is incredible, impeccable.
Thank you.
Well done. David, the Pirates, and not to steal a phrase from Shirley Rhodes, trying to get off the schneid when it comes to Navy matchups. It has been rough over the years and could be even tougher today. I think back to when Lincoln Riley during the offseason, head coach at Oklahoma, said that he won't be announcing what players are out due to COVID. And at the time, everybody's like, well, what do you mean? You're not going to – and now that is commonplace. I mean, you don't you don't have to put out an injury report, and you certainly don't talk about medical issues within your program. And this week – Mike Houston addressed it about as vaguely as possible, saying that there's a situation and they're dealing with the situation and all of that. It certainly sounds like, David, ECU is going to be a tad undermanned today, and that could be at the quarterback position. So you go in, and you think about Navy, you think about that triple option attack, but they were really good on defense last year. Donnie Kirkpatrick, ECU offensive coordinator, said they had 8 returners to that defense this year. So it could be a tough matchup if you're without your starting quarterback, and then the contact tracing comes into play. You might have some more guys out today, and that's why in the last hour of our show, we're going to try to see who's on the field, who's not on the field warming up today, David. But even more challenges on top of the challenge that is Navy.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge part of your show today, Cliff, because you want to talk about adding value through the airwaves. If this is a handful of guys, obviously it matters if Holton Ahlers is one of them, but that a handful is a lot different, than the 20-plus that Virginia Tech, for example, has been dealing with most weeks. I have a really good friend who covers Navy football, and 24 hours ago he was telling me that Navy coaches did not expect to see Holton Ahlers. So what was a rumor in Greenville had already become apparently accepted in Annapolis, Maryland, and we're going to, in all likelihood, see Mason Garcia, the freshman, at the quarterback position. I will add, though, when it comes to this matchup, whereas it's unpredictable which Pirates are going to be missing and how many, at least until you guys break that news, it is, I think, accurate to say that this is not the kind of Navy football team that has often mopped the floor with the Pirates. The offense is not nearly as dynamic, at least it has not been through the 2-2 start for Navy. So it's, how it works against the triple option. You got to know your assignment. You got to execute that assignment. One safety who loses his footing can, make the difference between a tackle at the line of scrimmage and, an 80-yard touchdown run. But Navy has been absolutely squashed by 2 of the other service academies so far this year. So I don't think they're the offensive juggernaut or anything like what we've seen, put up 70 points on the Pirates with that triple option in previous years.
You're right about that. They do not have the dynamic quarterback, a Ricky Dobbs, a Keenan Reynolds, or a Malcolm Perry that we saw last year. So that is good news. And also, they have been gashed on the ground. BYU took it to them week 1. Air Force, who runs the ball a lot, blew them out as well. So it's an interesting team. 2-0 in league play, 0-2 with 2 blowouts in non-conference play. So that's the team coming to Greenville today. And David, it's a shame that you face Navy this week and you've got the COVID dark cloud hanging over you, because the Pirates are coming off Mike Houston's biggest win as a head coach here in Greenville.
Agree. And one of the details that was exciting in that after we talked last week was, in my opinion, the emergence of the freshman running back, Raji Harris.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, Burns High School in South Carolina is an absolute juggernaut. Like, if you're Mike Houston trying to build this program in Greenville, North Carolina, he has talked to us a bit in the past about not only kind of that radius around Greenville, but given his other coaching stops as a head coach, the 3 states he knows best are Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina. Well, Raji Harris was a superstar who kind of waited his turn at Burns High School, but I think there was a Jerome Bettis reference from an ECU coach this week. Maybe we can call Raji the mini bus, because you don't find a lot of guys who are 5'10", 230 that can run that way. And you know, it was just one game, but he's already moving up the depth chart, and I think he's the kind of guy that can help the Pirates' big offensive line exploit that smallish Navy defensive front, maybe in a way that it takes a little pressure off of a freshman quarterback like a Mason Garcia, assuming that he does end up getting the start.
Hoping the Pirates can run the ball today. Navy will certainly run the ball today, David, and I'm pulling for a game under 3 hours. We'll see if that happens for the first time in 2020, because that is about as rare as anything these days, right?
Keep the clock running, baby. Yeah, we might see a little bit of a throwback type of thing. Although, you know, you never know with a freshman. But yeah. Mason Garcia, I know. Again, assuming he's the starter, this was a guy that I believe Pitt and Syracuse of the ACC offered scholarships to. I remember Eli Drinkwitz, who was at NC State as kind of an offensive guru, then App State's head coach for 1 year, now at Missouri of the SEC. I believe Mason Garcia was offered scholarships by both App State and Missouri. So here's a guy who could have played in the ACC, could have played in the SEC. He is at ECU, of course, and getting this opportunity perhaps earlier than he thought he would. But this is a guy who everybody thinks has a high ceiling, 6'5", 240, and did great things in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, that same recruiting footprint we were talking about. If he gets a shot, hard to guess if he's ready already, but there's no doubt that guy has a really high ceiling at some point in his time in Greenville.
DG, David Glenn joining us on the Fixed NC Live Line. David, let's talk a little ACC while we got you here. And Clemson takes care of Miami, pretty light work for them, 42-17. Looking at their schedule, and again, they've been beaten by a Syracuse upset here, and North Carolina had them on the ropes last year. But is this a pretty drama-free rest of 2020 for them schedule-wise, outside of at Notre Dame on November 7th, or is Dabo still going to have his guys ready to play every week to get through this ACC slate?
Yeah, I would pick the Tigers to go undefeated, and of course they'll be one of those two teams in the ACC title game. I don't know if it'll quite be that easy. Dabo's pretty good at keeping those guys mentally in the game on game day, even when they're huge favorites. At Notre Dame, as you mentioned, on November 7th, the Irish, along with the Tar Heels and some others, are playing good enough football that Clemson would have to be closer to its best to make sure it keeps this amazing ACC winning streak going. At Virginia Tech at the end of the year, we're not sure what the Hokies will look like at full strength. They've been pretty solid even while missing a couple dozen players. So maybe that regular season ender in December for the Tigers at the Hokies is another tricky one. Pitt's a decent football team. Boston College is better than expected. You got to show up. But, yeah, I think the safe money and smart money is on Clemson running the regular season table. And, of course, it's an even safer bet that they're going to be one of those two playing for the ACC title and, in all likelihood, making yet another college football playoff. They just have talent and depth and experience in gobs to a degree that nobody else in the ACC has it.
David, I guess I haven't been paying attention. You probably know the exact number here, the exact year, but I was pretty surprised today when I saw the last time Duke played NC State and the last time Duke played NC State at Carter Finley Stadium. It's been a long time, right?
It's crazy, and this is, part of what happened with the expansion of the ACC and other leagues. The trade-off is that you get a lot more TV money, you get the bigger geographic footprint, your TV partners like that. The downside includes games that were played every single year for decades are rarely played. So they haven't played each other in 7 years, but these are two schools that have played each other more than 80 times on the gridiron overall. So you got to go back to 2013 to find any meeting. You got to go back to 2009.
Wow. The
last time the Devils visited Carter Finley Stadium. State's the better team so far. Devin Leary has really upgraded the Wolfpack. Kind of throwing dimes from the quarterback position. Duke has struggled at QB with the Clemson transfer Chase Bryce. So the Wolfpack at home will be favored significantly today, But, yeah, this is a throwback game in the sense that it was something that, for probably 60 years, Wolfpack Blue Devils was something that happened every year on the gridiron.
David Glenn, DG, joining us on the Fixed NC Live line. Ronnie Woodward from the Daily Reflector was in here a moment ago, and Ronnie is Mr. Nostalgia. He was the only reason he was watching the finals is for Rajon Rondo. Last week he was trying to wake up the ghosts of the old U and said they had a shot against Clemson. His thing today, David, is North Carolina rolling in to Tallahassee, number 5 in the nation. He went back to, I think he said 1997, a similar situation, and he talked about all the All-Americans Florida State had, and they took care of business that day. My question to Ronnie is, where are those All-Americans this year for Florida State? He's trying to speak it into existence that an upset could happen tonight. I've seen too much of Florida State already to believe that's going to happen. But how about the matchup tonight on ABC, North Carolina at FSU?
Well, the historical perspective definitely favors the Seminoles. These two schools tonight will be the 20th time that they have played in football, and the Tar Heels have won only 3 of the previous 19. And actually, the two ones that folks might remember, 4 years ago, Nick Weiler kicked a 54-yard field goal as time expired as the Tar Heels won. And then it was about a decade ago that Casey Barth of Wilmington, North Carolina, kicked a field goal in the last minute as the Tar Heels. So 2 of the 3 all-time Carolina wins were both in the last decade and both by just, the hair. So I'll say this. Carolina's defense showed some vulnerability in that win over Virginia Tech. They gave up 40-plus to a Hokies team that was using multiple quarterbacks. And Florida State believes it has found its quarterback in Jordan Travis. He's kind of a scat back, not as good of a passer, but after James Blackman and a freshman named Tate Rodemaker really kind of face-planted, Jordan Travis does have the Seminoles believing a little bit more offensively. So when the Seminoles have the ball, they're going to have to really make some hay because that FSU defense is not very good. That Carolina offense is for real. So if the Seminoles were going to somehow spring an upset, it's going to have to be in shootout fashion.
There was a time, kids, that when Florida State would lose an ACC game, it was a big deal. I remember being at a concert, David, and I think it was Allman Brothers, but we were there, and John Boy and Billy, if you know those radio names, were like were hosting it, I guess. They were on the stage, and they said, "Hey, man, Torrey Holt and the Wolfpack just whooped the Florida State Seminoles," and everybody started celebrating stuff. So, I still remember that Virginia game, Charlottesville. Was it a Thursday nighter, David? But maybe their first loss. It used to be front page headlines when Florida State would get beat in the ACC.
You're right. I believe the number back in the Bobby Bowden days at Florida State. Remember, they joined the ACC in the early 1990s, and I covered a lot of those teams. In their first 72 ACC football games, the Seminoles won 70. And I'm trying to put the years together. One of them was what you just said, FSU UVA. Yeah. I think it was Anthony Poindexter, the star safety for the Cavaliers, made a tackle right at the goal line to preserve a George Welsh UVA victory. Yeah. And I remember the Torrey Holt game you're talking about. Can't remember if that was one of the 2 in the 70-2. But, Chris Wenke, I think, threw 6 interceptions for the Seminoles. And the Wolfpack just, what a huge day that was. I had said on my radio show that morning, the Wolfpack has about the same chance of an upset as I have of getting struck by lightning on the way home. So a lot of Wolfpack fans have reminded me of that in the 2 decades since then.
That's awesome. DG, final thoughts on ECU Navy. I mean, look, there's a lot of ways to look at it. You look at it from the aspect that this is not a powerhouse Navy team. They have their flaws. They have a lot of them. On ECU's side, you're coming off a great win, but you've got some testing issues, some contact tracing issues. So you don't know about that and how it's going to affect you. So I don't know. What's the bottom line on this matchup today at Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium?
I think the bottom line is if the Pirates get good quarterback play, the Pirates are going to win this game. I think you and I are in our visits together. I know you have a lot of guests. I think we're 3 for 3 in correctly predicting the Pirates so far this season. Today deserves an asterisk. If Holt and Ehlers were starting, I would pick the Pirates. I have no idea how much Mason Garcia or anyone else is going to play today. that's a difficult situation to be thrown into. But the bottom line is the Pirates have a real chance. This is a watered-down version of what Ken Niumatalolo usually brings to town with the midshipmen. They're just not very good offensively this year. The Pirates have to play assignment football. They can't have those big plays, because of missed assignments. So the Pirates have a chance, and they actually have, a few more thousand people allowed to watch them today, which is a nice little bonus. So I am rooting for them unabashedly, and I think with good quarterback play, they'll get the win.
And coming up in our next hour, we'll go out live to the stadium a few times and check in with folks out there who are watching the warm-up, seeing who's out there, seeing who's not, and also we'll get a fan update from Dowdy Ficklin Stadium as well. DG, we'll let you go, and we should mention this, speaking of picking games, talking about local teams, the Panthers just keep winning, David. Is that like a real thing right now? What's going on in Charlotte?
It's real, but it might be part, as Bugs Bunny used to say, mirage. It's a little. I think it's a little bit of a mirage in the sense that they just don't have the horses to keep up, I don't think, with the Saints and the Buccaneers in their own division. But give Matt Rule credit. He has those guys playing hard. He has them believing. Teddy Bridgewater has been good. Mike Davis has been really good in the absence of Christian McCaffrey. And some weekends, they're winning the X and O battle. It's the opponent's kind of face planning or missing assignments or making the big errors that can cost you ball games. So I think this year, just kind of building a foundation is the main thing for Matt Rule, but he's been right on guys like Mike Davis, guys like Justin Burris, the former NC State star on the defensive side of the ball. It's never a bad sign when what your new head coach said back in August during preseason practice truly unfolds the way he described it when the games start for real. So I think most of that optimism should be saved for next year and beyond, but a heck of a first foot forward for the Matt Rule version of the Carolina Panthers.
DG, always enjoy talking football with you, man. Appreciate you joining us. No game next week, and then we'll try to track you down as long as you aren't on a date on a Friday night with the lovely and talented Maria. A Friday night football, David, coming up in a couple of weeks.
Count me in. I'm always available. Great to be with you guys.
Enjoyed it.
The conversation.
Yes, sir. Enjoyed it as always. There's David Glenn joining us on the Fixed NC Live line. Shirley, that wraps up hour number 3. Let's head to a timeout. We'll come back. Hour 4, we're packed with interviews. Got the big man on campus, Jeff Nadeau, getting his picks of the day. We've got Troy D out at the stadium. Billy Weaver, Brian North, all of that and more is ahead on the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate. A rapid fire, hour 4 on the way after this.
At Tiebreakers, we pride ourselves on serving
big, juicy wings.
I'm talking
big and juicy.
Our chickens are the same ones that kick sand in the other chickens' faces. If our chickens played football, they'd be linebackers. The competition's chickens, they'd be
skinny little kickers.
Trade those kickers in for linebackers.
Tiebreakers is open every day at 11 a.m. Follow Tiebreakers on Facebook and Instagram for daily updates.
This is Dr. Phil Perdue with Orthopedics East and Sports Medicine Center. My colleagues and I recognize how difficult this time is for everyone in our community. We continue to see patients during the week while taking precautions to keep everyone safe. Our extended care clinic is now open on Saturdays and Sundays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. so you can avoid the emergency department for your urgent orthopedic care. For more information, please contact us at 757-2663 or visit our website at orthoeast.com.
Summertime is here with hot temperatures, thunderstorms, and hurricanes. It's easy to recognize pests invading your home, but a lot of people forget about moisture destroying your home's crawl space. Pest Tech is celebrating its 20th year protecting your homes using dehumidifiers, professional-grade liners, and most importantly, our licensed and highly trained technicians. Visit pesttechofgreenville.com for a free estimate on moisture control and the other silent destroyer, termites. Trust your home to the best. Pest Tech of Greenville, your East Coast exterminating professionals.
University PC Care has been the Pirate Nation's go-to IT expert since 2006. Unfortunately, many organizations today simply react to IT issues after the damage is done. This is known as the break-fix cycle in the tech service industry. University PC Care's Business Services Division has a better way, a proactive solution called BizCare. What's at your office? Call William at University PC Care today to schedule your free BizCare consultation or learn more at universitypccare.com.
I'm Michael Vaughn with East Coast Grading and Utilities. Many of you know my dad, David Vaughn, and his work in putting in subdivisions all over Pirate Nation. But East Coast Grading and Utilities is not just for those type of big jobs. We're here for the homeowners. Whether it's concrete, driveways, hauling rock, or sand, whatever you need, East Coast Grading and Utilities can get the job done. Call us at 252-531-7494 or check us out on Facebook at East Coast Grading and Utilities.
Get your sports weekend started at Familia. Every Thursday, Familia has $2 drafts all day. Stop by with your friends and family for some New York-style pizza and have an ice-cold $2 draft. Sunday brunch is the best for food and family. Come and enjoy favorites like shrimp and grits, made-to-order omelets, French toast, and drink specials like $3 mimosas, beer mimosas, or $5 Bloody Marys. Familia, Fire Tower Road near Pitt Community College, and FamiliaNC.com.
Pirate Radio.
And you write that down, because when you're at East Carolina, you go for it every time. Or you don't coach at East Carolina, you don't come to East Carolina, you don't play at East Carolina with a weak heart. Write it!
The voice of the Pirate Nation. You're listening to the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate, powered by Bud Light, the official beer of the ECU Pirates, and proudly distributed by Carolina Eagle Distributing since 1989. Now, back to the show.
Well, welcome back. Join us immediately after today's game between the Pirates and Navy for the one and only U.S. Cellular fifth quarter call-in show. Coach Rick Smith will be in studio, and we'll be taking your calls on the Fixed NC Live line at 317-1250, plus reading your Facebook Live comments and your tweets at PR927FM. When the fourth quarter ends, it's the U.S. Cellular fifth quarter call-in show right here on the Voice of the Pirate Nation. Now let's head back into the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate show. Here's your host, What? Welcome to the show.
I
have had the yips today.
Yips. You got the Altuve's going.
I don't know what is my problem today, other than I stayed up late, had to get up really early.
Yeah, I'm with you, Shirley. Good news, no game next Saturday, so we get a Saturday off.
Yeah.
We'll take that.
I will take that all day long.
But we do have 1 hour to go on this program, and we'll be with you after the game today on the U.S. Cellular fifth quarter call-in show, recapping the action and keeping you up to date on what's going on across the world of college football. We'll do that right now with the big man on campus, Jeff Nadeau from Barstool Sports. He joins us once again. Big man, how you doing today?
Doing good, Clip. How are you?
I'm great. I know you're good because you got your Serie A and Premier League and Bundesliga and all your other football going on today too, right?
Yeah, today's college football, but there is other stuff to bet on, and plenty of football now and then plenty of football later.
Jeff, the ECU Navy over, and you kind of caught wind of what was going on around here with the COVID testing and potentially a different quarterback playing for ECU, and Mike Houston addressed it vaguely about what was going on, but you know everybody kind of reads the tea leaves on this thing, and the line has moved around, the total has moved. I did see, I think the total's at 55.5. Did it get down to 55 at one point, Jeff? So it kind of bottomed out at 55, and Navy right now a 3-point favorite. As we get closer to kickoff, any interest on this game one way or the other?
Yeah, I think that the same issues for the East Carolina Pirates are going to persist, though, Clip. And, I know they looked really good last week, but South Florida is a bad football team with a bad defense. I wonder, can Mason Garcia, who obviously is next in line, can he move the football behind this offensive line? He's going to have some weapons to throw to. We know that. And look, I'm going to make this clear. I know a ton about Navy and the military schools. This is a bad Navy defense. They're not very good. I know Diego Fago, their star linebacker. He's been in and out. He may not play today.
That's a big loss, Jeff. I know you. That's big, right? If he doesn't play,
it's very big. He's their best player on defense. He's kind of their captain on defense, and he's a tackling machine. He's a good player. And look, when you have a team like Navy, the leadership's important. It's obviously a military school. You need those kind of guys. And, again, this is a Navy defense that's had trouble all year getting stops. You have to wonder, can East Carolina add to the scoreboard? And, look, if you can get 55 and a half, I'm starting to kind of have some interest there. At 61 and all some of the issues, we just don't know who's going to play for ECU. And when you have these teams that are dealing with it. I will say this, though. I've noticed a clip in any sport where you have teams that are coming off COVID issues, they normally actually play pretty well. There's a team in Serie A today, Napoli. They had a game that was forfeited last week because they didn't have enough players to show up. They come out today and score 4 goals against one of the best teams in the league and win. So, this could be a spot for ECU to say, you know what, we've got some kids that maybe are better options than what we've had. Look at Syracuse clip. They had Tommy DeVito playing. They make a quarterback change. Look at Florida State. They make a quarterback change. So, Mason Garcia maybe could be a good option here. 55 and a half seems a little low for these two defenses.
Talking to the BMOC, Jeff Nadeau here on the Fixed NC Live line. Jeff, I know another game you got your eye on, I believe, is at 4 o'clock on ESPN, A&M and Mississippi State, right?
Yeah, I already played Mississippi State here, played it early in the week at 7. It's down into the 4.5, 5 range now. Sharp money is taking Mississippi State. There's a lot of issues with A&M here. I know they're off a big win, but again, I think they're a little overvalued here on the road against, to me, desperate Mississippi State team. This is a Mississippi State team that we know can move the football. This is an A&M team that has been pretty poor in the secondary. A&M's also going to be without one of their best receivers, Caleb Chapman. He's out for a year. And it is kind of shoddy there for them at receiver. I think this is a tough spot on the road against a desperate team that can move the ball. Keep in mind as well, this is a spot where I think a lot of public bettors are going to take Texas A&M. Mississippi State, I think, gets off the mat here and gets the job done. I think they win this game. I'm in a great spot with the line I got. This kind of reminds me of last week's game between Florida and Texas A&M. Get the whole world on Texas A&M or on Florida, line going the opposite way. Texas gets the outright win.
Talking to the big man on campus, Jeff Nadeau. Jeff, what else you like on this Saturday slate? Coming up at noon, 3 o'clock window, or tonight?
I like a game tonight. You got North Carolina and Florida State. Florida State made a quarterback change. They went with this kid, Jordan Travis. He actually played pretty well for them. He's able to move the football. They've got some skill position players that I think can do some things. And this is a North Carolina team that I think with a good quarterback but a poor defense, I'm willing to think that there's points in this game. We know how good Sam Howell is. This came across to me, Clip, as like a 42-31 type of game, something like that. I think this number's a little too low at 64.5. Florida State has that little injection now where we know they're not a great defense, but they're going to be able to give some points up. As far as the rest of the card, I think Army's interesting, kind of around that 1:30, 2 o'clock range, but this number's kind of gotten a little out of hand. I think a lot of people look at Liberty, Syracuse, and say, why the hell is Liberty a 2.5, 3-point favorite on the road? But this is a bad Syracuse team, and Liberty has a quarterback that's an Auburn transfer. They're well coached. They always are able to put some points on the board. This is a tough board, I will admit. I only have 2 plays at this point that I'm looking at. And then one other one, Memphis, UCF. Numbers down to 74.5. This could be go time on a total here. Neither team, I think, is going to stop anyone. I think it's just back and forth. 2 good quarterbacks here. I think this is a simple, 41-38 type of game.
Yeah, I side-eyed the Duke-Syracuse line last week, Jeff, and I will not do that this week with the Liberty line because Duke took care of them. So I'm kind of done with Cuse right now. Jeff, we're up against it. We'll let you go. Appreciate you joining us. We'll talk to you on Monday's edition of Pirate Radio Live. You got any plans to be on the Barstool stream coming up on Sunday?
Yeah, I will be there tomorrow in Philadelphia. We'll be live. We'll be doing the 1 o'clock slates and the rest of the day. I do believe someone has a 10K free bet that they'll be sweating as well that Portnoy gave one of the guys. So you're rooted in. I'll be there. A couple other people will be there as well. Watch Eagles, Ravens, some of the other games.
Big man, enjoyed it. We'll talk to you Monday, man.
Thank you, Clip.
Jeff Nadeau on the Fixed NC Live line joining us live here on the program. Now we will head out live to Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium and talk to Troy D. And Troy may have some news for us regarding who will be and who will not be playing in this game today. Troy, what's going on at the stadium?
Hey, Clip. First of all, can you hear me okay? I'm in an area in the press box where I'm not sure about cell coverage.
Yeah, we got
Make
you.
sure you can hear me all right.
We got you
all
clear.
Right, great day for Pirate football, first of all. It's a shame that more fans can't come and that we're dealing with this COVID situation because it is absolutely perfect football weather today. Not a cloud in the sky, nice, comfortable temperatures. And the 3,500 fans that are lucky enough to come, I talked to many of them tailgating, enjoying the football atmosphere. At least it started to seem, it wasn't a normal game day atmosphere, but it was good to see some folks outside the stadium, a little bit of energy. A big change from how it was the last game, last time we were here for the season opener. But I will tell you this, we first got wind of this story probably late Tuesday morning, and it's kind of, as many people refer to it as the worst kept secret in Greenville, what's going on with ECU football, specifically with the quarterback situation. We are awaiting word from Tom McClellan. They're going to announce to the media in the press box how many players are out for today. Now, this is a very delicate situation when it comes to players' health. It's a little bit different than an injury situation. So they are not going to name names. So it'll be up to everyone else to figure out who isn't there by the process of elimination. If it's going to be, once the game starts, you're going to find out who's available and who isn't. But they're going to give us at least the numbers. I'm hearing that it's around 4 or 5 players that are not going to be able to play. Only one's a backup. There are going to be a few starters out. I will tell you this, and we've talked about it all week. I can go ahead and confirm and at least officially report, officially for the first time, Holton Ahlers is not available for today's game. Holton is not even in the stadium. He will be watching the game from home. So Mason Garcia is going to be the quarterback for today. He's going to be the starting quarterback and will, barring some unforeseen injury, probably go the distance for East Carolina. So that's going to be the big storyline coming out for today. Holton Ahlers will not play. He is under some type of COVID protocol. I'm sure Coach Houston will address that after the game. That'll be up to him to really kind of discuss as far as what the future is. And hopefully, from what I'm hearing, I think he would be available as soon as next week. So I can tell you this, he is not, from personal experience, I have actually seen Holton this week. He is not sick. He is okay. He is fine. If he did test positive, it's asymptomatic, but some of the players that may be out may not be because of a positive case. It could be due to the contact tracing. So we'll have to wait. ECU may not release that specific information, but it is going to be obvious to everybody when the game starts that Holton Ahlers isn't there. I'm also hearing Penix could be one of the guys that potentially is out too. So that would be a loss of running back, but we'll have to wait and see once the game starts officially, what the status of that is. But the big news today, of course, Holton Ahlers is out and Mason Garcia is in. So will not be number 12 out there. Look for number 10 slinging passes today, Clip. So that's going to be the big story coming out of today's ball game.
Holton Ahlers on Instagram about 9 minutes ago put up a picture of a TV with College Game Day on, and they're talking about Nick Saban, and the caption is, "So he can retest?" ? And there's been a lot of talk that there potentially could have been a positive test and then no retest, and that is what I'm inferring from that Instagram post by ECU quarterback Holton Ahlers.
Well, I'll go ahead and tell you this. I think I have confirmed that they only tested Holton once. He never got a retest. Now, I don't understand why, and that maybe that's a question for ECU health officials, but those around Holton have been tested, and his close family members, other folks that have been around him this week have all tested negative. So I would think that the first thing you would do, and there is an error rate. I do know people and have talked to people that run these testing centers that mistakes happen. Yeah, heck, you saw that with the entire Georgia Southern team the week before we played them. Remember, they had a game canceled because they had too many positive tests. Then a few days later said, oops, we made a mistake. They weren't positive. They tested wrong. And then the game for East Carolina was on. So there is an error rate with these. I would have, this is just me, I would have absolutely tested him again to be sure, to be positive that it is positive. Because what if that test or what if that person made a mistake, which does happen? I don't understand why he wasn't tested again. Once again, that's up for East Carolina officials to explain. You've seen this happen with Nick Saban, as he was referencing, and it looks like Nick could end up coaching the game today, that maybe his first test wasn't read correctly or whatever the case may be, but there is an error rate with these. And even if it's a small percentage, there's a reason there's a small percentage. It's not 100% accurate all the time. And Holton could have fallen into that small percentage. But why question it? Why not just test him again to rule it in or rule it out? That I don't understand. I don't have the answer for, but I will try and follow up and ask those questions to ECU folks down the line.
All right, Troy D, thanks for the report, and we'll keep checking your Twitter and keep checking Pirate Radio's Twitter as far as other news breaks as to, who is in uniform, who's not in uniform, warming up for the Pirates on this Saturday, because, again, no injury report, no Orthopedics East injury report, and certainly no updates on COVID testing and medical reports. You kind of have to find out on your own as it happens, and Troy's got our eyes there in Dowdy Ficklin Stadium. So if anything else breaks, let us know, Troy D, and we'll put it out to the people.
Sounds good. Appreciate it as always, Clip, doing a great job, and we'll see you guys in the fifth quarter.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Troy. There's Troy D out at Dowdy Ficklin Stadium. Mason Garcia will give it a go today for the Pirates with Holton Ahlers out of this football game. All right, let's take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll get our keys to the game and more breaking news with WITN Sports Director Billy Weaver. He joins us next on the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate. We're back after this.
It's bow time.
The barbecue sandwich from Bojangles is back. Wait, Bojangles has barbecue?
Yeah, keep going.
Well, okay then. We're talking tender pulled pork with a tangy Carolina vinegar kick. Unforgettably topped with our country coleslaw, all on perfectly toasted buns. So if you're like me and missed it last time, get your hands on a barbecue sandwich combo pronto.
It's bow time. If you are push mowing your yard using an inefficient lawn tractor, or your current zero-turn spends more time in the shop than mowing your grass, it's time you look at a Hustler zero-turn lawnmower. Residential mowers from Hustler are built like tanks and drive like sports cars. All Hustler mowers have fabricated, welded steel decks. Don't settle on cheap units with flimsy stamped decks from big box stores. Come see Ron Ayers Motorsports. It will guide you to the right mower for your property and your budget. Find us at Ron Ayers Motorsports, Highway 11, north of the airport in Greenville.
Every team knows that the two-point play can be a winning move. That's why I'm here. State Farm agent Timothy Sawyer and my team are here to help you go for two by combining your home and auto insurance. It's a great call that saves you time and money. So go for the win and score some savings by combining your home and auto. It's just another way we're here to help life go right. Call me, Timothy Sawyer, at 493-0002 today.
When you don't have time to go to lunch, let Jimmy John's deliver lunch to you. With Jimmy John's, we can get a freaky fresh sandwich to you freaky fast. Click to order at jimmyjohns.com. Dinner's great. It's one of your top 3 favorite meals. You just don't want to have to make it. Well, with Jimmy John's, you don't have to. Whether you live in a sandwich delivery zone or head into the store, you can always get a freaky fresh sandwich. Click to order at jimmyjohns.com.
This is Pirate Radio, WGHB Farmville, 1250 at 92.7 FM Greenville, WDLX Washington, 930 and 104.1 FM Washington. You're listening to the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate, powered by Bud Light, the official beer of the ECU Pirates, and proudly distributed by Carolina Eagle Distributing since 1989. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. For the latest breaking news, interesting stories, and awesome contests that can make you a winner, be sure to follow Pirate Radio on our social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at PR927FM. Join the close to 50,000 followers today at PR927FM. Now let's head back into the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate. Here's your host, Clip Barak.
All righty, back with you on the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate. Just talked to Troy D a moment ago live at the stadium. Holton Ahlers will not be participating in today's game. Holton Ahlers also, we just tweeted out the picture. Holton Ahlers on his Instagram put out a picture of him watching College Game Day, or the picture is of a television screen, College Game Day on it. They're talking about Nick Saban and testing positive, and then retaking the test, testing negative, and the caption on Holton Ahlers' Instagram says, "So he can retest, question mark, and then a inquisitive emoji." So that's what's up there right now, as far as, and that's the situation going on with Holton Ahlers. So it looks like Mason Garcia could be the guy this week. All right, let's head out to the, Glenn.
I just posted some video of Mason Garcia working out on the field before the game.
All right.
So he's out there with the ones, as reported, and warming up and preparing to take the field.
That's on our social media sites. All right.
Yes.
Good stuff. All right, let's head out to the Fixed NC Live line. Talk to Brian North, who joins us, WCTI Sports Director. North, how you doing, man?
Today,
but, man.
Still trying to do what I can.
Oh, sorry, dude. I didn't know. You sound awful. What's
Oh, yeah, absolutely horrible, right? I mean, don't feel bad. It's just kind of the end of dealing with whatever little things going around, which is not the COVID. I did not test positive, so I am able to still get out and about. But yeah, we're okay. We're good. Everything's okay.
Okay. We should have had Brett Kennedy warming up to talk to him instead of you today, North. I had no idea.
Yeah, Brett's at the stadium. He's going to cover the game today for us. And Holton and I will be watching on TV ourselves.
Yeah, I guess so. Brian, such an interesting matchup every year with Navy, and you throw in the wrinkles of COVID testing, contact tracing, and it just adds another layer to it. And kind of a shame, too, right, Brian? Because the Pirates played so well last week, had a lot of momentum heading into this one.
And they're going to need to score points today. I mean, with Navy, you just don't very well picture shutting them down unless they hurt themselves with fumbles. And so offensively, with the one time the Pirates won, they had to outscore them, and I think you'd have to do that again. And so now having an unproven college quarterback in there, it's not an ideal situation to try and beat the Naval Academy.
Some other news coming out. Stephen Igo just tweeting a minute ago, ECU will be without Holton Ahlers, Darius Penix, Demetrius Mooney, Demir Faison, Tank Robinson. So a couple guys on the defensive side of the ball, a couple of running backs, and the starting quarterback, Holton Ahlers. So, you're down some guys there. I guess I'll try to spin it in a positive in the backfield. I think you really got something, Brian, with your freshman running backs, Raji Harris, and we saw Keaton Mitchell as well. We'll start there, Brian. You got to – this is the good problem to have. Too many backs in the backfield with only one ball. When you have injuries, when you have these COVID situations pop up, it's nice that they do have other options back there.
They're going to need to control the ball. One of the ways you keep Navy from scoring so much is limit their possessions. You try and keep that triple option from getting into a rhythm. So if you can keep the ball out of their hands and eat up the clock with that running game, also take the pressure off the new quarterback. So you've got to be able to run the ball a little bit, and that's going to be key today. So it's going to have those guys are going to have to perform, and that offensive line is going to have to perform today. My
positive spin on Demir Faison and Tank Robinson is you've got a ton of defensive linemen, and we've already seen guys like Kennedy and Dorso and guys come in at the safety position and play quite well for ECU. So, again, you've got some depth at those positions, but when you lose these guys, obviously it takes a hit from a depth standpoint.
So you need depth when you're taking on the triple option, but at the same time, maybe you keep guys in there who will learn their assignment football. Sometimes when you rotate too much when you're playing assignment football against the triple option, some guys forget what they're doing. So maybe by keeping the same guys in there, is that your positive spin? Keep the same guys in there, they'll be able to handle it in their assignment football a little bit better.
Brian, Blake Harrell has tons of experience coaching against the option, just being on the staffs he's been a part of. Mike Houston, experience coaching it as well from an offensive side. How important is that heading into today? Blake Harrell had the great line this week. It doesn't matter what he knows. It matters what his players know and what he can translate to them. So how important, though, is it that the Pirates have these guys on staff going into today's game?
Yeah, and he's correct. It only matters so much, and you have to be the one out there that you have to react in an instant to that triple option of whether the fullback has it, whether the quarterback has it, whether there's a pitch. I mean, there's so many things going through there with the trickery with the football that it's up to the guys on the field. Now, I found it real interesting. They said that they've been working on it for a period every Sunday during practice, so this is a game they've been looking to. This is a game that it's an anomaly because it's one team that does this on your schedule, and they've really been focusing more than ever before on this triple option defensively. So they've been preparing. Now they don't have all the horses. I'm still curious. It's all good until what Mike Tyson said. Everybody has a plan until they get hit. So we're going to see what happens the first time that Navy busts one, and they're going to, right? I mean, it's really all you're looking for is about 5 stops of series today. Maybe punt 5 times, and you've got a chance.
Yeah, it's a good point, and a great time to use that Mike Tyson quote. Rick Smith said yesterday it's impossible for the scout team to do everything Navy's going to do, especially you don't want guys at practice diving at your defensive line's knees, so they're not going to do that at practice. Rick Smith says it takes a possession or two and then you say, all right, that's what you can expect. Now go out there, you know what's coming, handle it. So that initial blow, and that has been a huge problem, Brian, in this series. ECU going down early in these football games.
And you have limited possessions offensively. And
to
how
catch
do you take out your starting quarterback for the last couple of years? And so it's really key. I think you really have to generate turnovers. I think when you beat a triple option team, you've got to make them put the ball on the ground and create turnovers, at least a couple. I think they've got to create at least 3 turnovers today if they want to win.
North, thanks for playing hurt, man. Hope you feel better and get well. And we will talk to you next week on Pirate Radio Live. No ECU football game next Saturday, so we'll give you the day off. But I hope you're feeling better, man.
All right, appreciate it, Clippy.
Thank you, sir. There's Brian North, WCTI 12 sports director, playing through the pain today. That's what we like to see here on the Bud Light pregame tailgate. All right, we're going to keep rolling along and trying to get as many live updates from the stadium as we can. We'll try to check in with Billy Weaver, Brian Bailey, and others as we still have 30 minutes to go. ECU and Navy, more news coming out. We'll update you on everything we know about who's playing in this game, who's not playing when we return after this.
Get your ice cold Bud Light Seltzer here. Even though you can't go to the game, doesn't mean the game can't be brought to you now here. Just go to budlight.com/delivery. That's budlight.com/delivery.
Give me 2 mangoes.
Coming at you. It's a little short. Ow. Sorry. You know what? I'm just going to walk them over to you.
Whenever there's a game to watch, there's a Bud Light there. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, and Bud Light Seltzer, IRC Beer in Texas, St. Louis, Missouri.
Banking is banking until service is not the same. This is Eric Clark from Select Bank and Trust, and this year has been unusual, but we have continued to focus on what has always been important to us, our customers. When businesses needed access to the Paycheck Protection Program, our team of local bankers worked around the clock to successfully keep our customers open and their employees working. Wouldn't you like to deal with a bank that is responsive to your needs, can make local decisions, and cares about you, the customer? We are Select Bank and Trust. Bank local, bank select.
Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
BMS Builders is your premier custom builder in eastern North Carolina. With Blackwood and Mills Creek in Greenville, Dalton's Cove in Farmville, and Belmar in Ayden, these are just a few of the developments featuring BMS Builders homes. They can build the home of your dreams. Just ask Dr. Dennis Ross in Greenville or East Carolina football coach Mike Houston. They built their homes, and they can build yours as well. BMS Builders. Give them a call at 916-1578 for BMS Builders.
The Rick House is Eastern North Carolina's premier American-styled restaurant and bar. Join us at the Rick House for mouth-watering steaks and the best burgers around. Check out the spicy mahi risotto or the bourbon pecan salmon. Wednesday night is date night. 2 salads, an appetizer, a bottle of wine, 2 entrees, and a dessert for just $55. Thursday is ladies' night with $5 martinis and special apps. The Rick House, American Provisions and Spirits, 710 Red Banks Road beside the bowling alley in Greenville. The Rick House.
This is assistant football coach Drew Dudzik, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate, powered by Bud Light, the official beer of the ECU Pirates, and proudly distributed by Carolina Eagle Distributing since 1989. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. Watch all of Pirate Radio's local programming on YouTube Live. Go to YouTube and search for Pirate Radio TV and subscribe today. Watch Pirate Radio Live Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. The Bud Light Pregame Tailgate going on right now, and later on today, the U.S. Cellular 5th quarter. Just go to YouTube and search Pirate Radio TV and subscribe. Now let's head back into the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate. Here's your host, Clip Rock.
All right, a lot of news breaking here regarding this ECU and Navy football game. And, man, some good news for Navy. Their stud linebacker, Diego Fago, is warming up. And that would be a boost for this Navy defense, that according to Ronnie Woodward. Tyler Feldman, WITN, just had the list of names out for ECU. That includes Holt Nailers, also Darius Penix, Demetrius Moody, Demir Faison, and Tank Robinson. So WITN, Tyler Feldman is reporting that he's at the stadium. We'll talk to WITN sports director Billy Weaver right now on the Fixed NC Live line. Weave, how you?
Doing good. Figures the game that I let Tyler use our one and only credential for the game, that he gets gets all the excitement. Well, I don't know if it's excitement. It's definitely not exciting for ECU fans. It's devastating news, really.
And
nothing we weren't really prepared for.
And kudos to Feldman. Had a good video, Weave. You've probably seen it by now, of ECU's offense taking the field, and you got Mason Garcia running out there behind his offensive lineman. So that's the story for today, between noon and 3 o'clock. What the freshman can do in his debut as a Pirate, as a starter.
Yeah, sometimes things like this have a way of surprising you. Who knows? I mean, we could see something really special out there, or we could see a complete disaster. You just don't know. We've heard good things about Mason Garcia. The one thing about this whole 2020 season and preseason with the COVID and everything, unfortunately, us in the media, we haven't had a chance to be at practices, to be able to kind of see how these guys develop in practice. We're only going by what we hear from the coaches. And, of course, sometimes there is coach speak. You just don't know until you see these guys in person. And, unfortunately, it's going to be a thrown into the fire, trial by fire deal for Mason Garcia today, getting his first college start against a very good Navy team.
I talked to Donnie Kirkpatrick on Wednesday. Obviously, nobody from the staff was revealing what was going on as far as individuals. So you heard the Zooms and everything. We had to ask him any way possible, a quarterback question. And, mine was, if Holt Nailers can't go, how ready are the other QBs in the room? And he said, look, the Tom Brady story, the Kurt Warner story, he brought up those situations and opportunities that Warner coming in for Trent Green and Brady coming in for Bledsoe, and their legacies were written. So, as you said, it's happened before in a positive way, and Mason Garcia will try to begin chapter 1 of that for him today.
Yeah, and not just with quarterbacks, but how many times have we heard this in college football and in sports, really, where either an injury throws somebody into the spotlight, maybe a little before their coaches think they're ready or coaches would want to. And, at any situation, any position, running backs, receivers, and all, we've seen this time and time again. And coaches talk about that. They preach that constantly in practice, and they tell that to the guys that are working on the scout teams, and the guys that are on the second and third teams are like, hey, you need to give it your all, and you need to play like and practice like you're a starter every day. And the guys that really take that to heart and really listen to it and know that they're one step away from a start, the guys that really take that to heart seem to flourish, and hopefully that's Mason Garcia today. We'll have to wait and see.
Billy, the key and the main conversation every week you take on Navy would be stopping the option. That's taking a back seat to who was going to be available for today's game and not available for ECU. So now we have that answer, and now we'll get your answer, Weave, on your defensive keys to the game, stopping this Navy option attack. Good news, Weave, that there's no Malcolm Perry, Keenan Reynolds, Ricky Dobbs leading the way at quarterback, but bad news is they still have a fullback and a wingback, and they will just pound you all game long. So, what's the key to stopping this option attack this afternoon?
Well, you know what? It's easy on a defensive key for Navy because every time you play them, the key is always the same defensively, and it's staying in your assignment, staying with your assignment. It's assignment football. It really is. It's not to oversimplify it, but it's not a complicated offense that Navy runs because you've got quarterback dive pitch. The problem is you've got defensive players that are very aggressive, and most defensive players are see ball, get ball. They like to be aggressive and they like to fly around the football. You have to back it off a little bit defensively when you play a triple option team because you have to stay in your assignment. Just because your guy at that moment doesn't have the football doesn't mean you go to the football. That's when you over pursue, and that's when you have a problem. So it doesn't matter who is in defensively for East Carolina. The key to the game is stay with your assignment. And if East Carolina can do that, they can hopefully limit that, the damage done by a very, very potent triple option attack.
Weave, on offense last week, the Pirates got rolling. Rajee Harris, Keaton Mitchell running the football. Holton Ahlers at quarterback running the football. Also threw for 3 touchdowns, including 2 to C.J. Johnson. As folks, he is back, it appears, for the 2020 season. So now Ahlers out, Garcia in. Garcia can run the football too, Weave. I'm interested to see how much Donnie uses design runs with the freshman QB. He's got a heck of an arm and can really throw it, but how much of the playbook does he know? What do you think, Weave, as far as the keys offensively with a new starting quarterback for the Pirates today?
Well, you have to think offensively. The key is definitely going to be to keep the ball on the ground as much as possible, and if that's with the running game or with the passing game, and Mason Garcia, as you mentioned, he can run the football. There are less mistakes with a freshman quarterback and a guy making his first start when you keep the ball out of the air. It's a shame that you take some talented receivers out of the mix in that. And I'm not saying they won't throw the football. East Carolina will throw the football, but I think you dial it back just a little bit because you want to protect the football. That's the thing you can't do against Navy is you can't turn the ball over and give the ball back to that triple option. You just can't do it. So, you might get frustrated every once in a while in seeing them run the football, I would imagine. But I think the key offensively is to try and establish that run game. They were able to do that with Rajee Harris last week. He put up 115 yards on the ground. So offensively, if the offensive line can do their job like they did last week, they could make some inroads offensively with a new quarterback back there. And I think, once they get into the rhythm of the game, maybe we'll see them open the playbook up just a little bit, but I would imagine they'd be a little conservative today.
Weave, thanks for joining us, man. Appreciate your time as always here on the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate. And Billy, you've done so well. We're going to give you next Saturday off, so enjoy it.
All right. That is awesome. Hey, I tell you what. You know what? I appreciate that so much. I'll give you the Saturday off, too.
Wow. All right. Everybody's got a Saturday off. But you know what? I'll give you the following Saturday off, Weave, but we're going to need to talk to you Friday night. For a Friday night football game here in a couple weeks when they take on Tulsa.
Yeah.
9 o'clock kickoff time, Billy. Woof.
Yeah, that's going to be a weird one. I think it was the last one I remember was when was it Tulsa? I think No, it was UTEP. I remember a 9 o'clock tip-off because I remember making that trip all the way out to El Paso and not getting back into Greenville till almost 5 o'clock in the morning. So, yeah, I remember those late kickoffs. They're tough.
The Miracle in the Mine Shaft, and not only was that late, I believe that went to OT too, Billy. So you were there.
It did
even later.
It did. We were, WITN broadcast that game. I remember it very well.
We've enjoyed it, man. We'll talk to you coming up this week on Pirate Radio Live, and we'll check out your highlights and everything on WITN Sports.
All right, we'll see you.
See you, man. There's Billy Weaver joining us on the Fixed NC Live line. All right, Shirley, we'll take another timeout. When we return, we'll see if we can get one more check-in at the stadium. We've also got to make our fantasy picks. Since it's ECU Navy, there's going to be a lot of tackle opportunities today for the Pirate defense. I think we go too deep again with our fantasy picks, offense and defense. Everybody cool with that? Chandler's not here, so Rajee Harris is available in the draft. You have to be present to participate in our fantasy picks. So he's available. Everybody's available. We'll make our picks and have more for you when we return after this.
At Tiebreakers, we admit we have a bit of a problem. People love our wings so much that they're starting to sell their home TVs just so they can watch all the sporting events here at Tiebreakers. Seriously, we're glad you love our hand-breaded and hand-cut boneless wings that much, but we really need you to go home at the end of the night. It's okay, we'll be here tomorrow. And when you come back, bring a friend with you. For great food, great friends, and cold beer, we'll see you at Tiebreakers. Tiebreakers, break the chain, eat local.
Hey guys, this is Amanda from the Man Cave. Do you need your hair cut, or what about a beard trim? The Man Cave is the newest spot just for you. I'm the local owner, and my goal is to make sure you have a place to be pampered and treated like a man. We don't have the girly stuff. Our cave is masculine. Enjoy a game of pool or free snacks or adult beverages during your service. The Man Cave is now open next to Lighting by Design on Fire Tower Road in Greenville.
The Frowls family lives on a lush piece of land called Greener Pasture, and they work on it behind the wheel of a John Deere 1 Series tractor. With its durable construction and features that hook up to dozens of attachments with ease, no job is too tough. The Frowls family runs with us, because this is more than just land, it's home. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Get quality at every turn with Quality Equipment, your local John Deere dealer, with 27 locations in North Carolina and southeastern Virginia. Find out more at QualityEquip.com.
UBE and PirateWear.com are proud to offer the Pirate Nation its largest inventory ever. Brand new Adidas is arriving daily, along with Under Armour, Columbia, and Russell Athletic. UBE is loaded with cargo, and new items are being added daily to PirateWear.com. Be sure to check out our children's store, The Crow's Nest, for all of your young pirates. UBE and PirateWear.com, an ECU tradition for 50 years. Go Pirates!
With rates being historically low, now is the best time to buy or refinance your home. This is Talbot Green with Angel Oak Home Loans. Now is the time to take advantage of the opportunity to buy more home or refinance your current mortgage. The combination of our local team's experience and Angel Oak's wide offerings of products from standard conventional, government, and portfolio loans has something for most financial situations. For more information, call Talbot Green, Joanne Weir, or Wanda Hager at 751-2060.
NMLS 1719250 and 685-842. Equal housing lender.
Introducing new Domino's Carside Delivery. Now when you carry out, you don't even need to leave your car. So you don't have to interrupt your favorite song.
It's time to drive down to the rock show.
Or interrupt your kid's favorite song.
We'll be friends just for one.
You can interrupt this, actually.
Try Domino's Carside Delivery when you carry out 3-topping pizzas for $7.99 each, and we'll carry out your order to your car contact-free. Carry out only. You must ask for this limited time offer. Prices, participation, and charges may vary. Excludes XL and specialty pizzas. Crust availability varies by size. Message and data rates may apply when using Domino's Carside Delivery.
This is Coach Blake Carroll, defensive coordinator for East Carolina football, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate, powered by Bud Light, the official beer of the ECU Pirates, and proudly distributed by Carolina Eagle Distributing since 1989. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. Did you miss a show on Pirate Radio? Well, listen to all of Pirate Radio's archived local programming by subscribing to us on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe today by going to the podcast app on your iPhone or Apple device and search for Pirate Radio Audio Archives. Now let's head back into the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate. Here's your host, Clip Baron.
Welcome back to the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate. Got a few more minutes to go. Let's get one more check-in live at Dowdy Ficklin Stadium and talk once again on the show to Brian Bailey, WNCT Channel 9 Sports Director. Bailey, news come out now, and no Holt Nailers for the Pirates. Also, Darius Penix, Demetrius Mooney, Demir Faison, and Tank Robinson being listed as out, reported as out for today's game as well. So, anything else we need to know, Bailey? All this news coming out here lately.
No, that's pretty much the news from here. Both teams are in the locker room right now, getting ready to come back out. It's a cool, crisp afternoon as far as the weather goes here at Dowdy Ficklin Stadium, and it's kind of like a spring game feel to it with the fans in the stands. Usually, a spring game, the fans are only on one side, but there are fans on both sides, all in the lower bowl. It is nice to see some fans here. Wish we had a whole lot more, because I think the Pirates are going to need that against this Navy football team today. But still, it's awfully loud here. I can hardly hear anything you said, so I may have missed something along the way. A lot of the Navy fans are over here. They brought several fans to see the midshipmen play this afternoon. So can't wait for football. It's getting ready to start. We got a perfect day for it.
I'm seeing that Mason Garcia's picture and name is on the scoreboard, listed as the starting quarterback today. Bailey, from what you know and from folks you've talked to, what are the expectations for Mason Garcia today in his first start?
Well, I think you're going to see the Pirates pretty much be very conservative, at least to start. I think the only knock on Mason right now is experience. He's got all the tools. He's an outstanding recruit, one of the highest recruits ever for East Carolina Pirate football. He's got all the tools as far as the makeup goes, the physicality of the game. He's going to be an excellent quarterback here, but right now he just really doesn't know a whole lot, and I think it's been a struggle this week to try to get him ready to go with all the unknowns and that kind of thing, and it's really unfortunate that he gets thrown to the wolves like this, but, hey, who knows what's going to happen? He may go out there and just light the world on fire. We certainly hope he has a good day, but it's going to be a little bit of a struggle, I would think. I'm sure the Navy coaches are going to try to mix things up, especially, in the secondary, some of their rushes. The offensive line has to play well to give him some kind of chance.
Brian Bailey joining us live at Dowdy Ficklin Stadium. Bailey, thanks for the report here and also for joining us earlier in the show. We'll check out the highlights on WNCT Channel 9. And Bailey's gone. All right. Live at the stadium. Maybe he got caught up in the band. I feel like I heard some. Yeah, there's a lot going on for 3,500 people.
Yeah, it's also kind of windy outside, too, so it may be a little bit of a difficulty for him to hear. Because you got a little bit of a breeze going on. It's not nearly as windy as it was yesterday, but it's still a little breezy.
All right, there's your weather report by Shirley Rhodes. Thank you for that. Let's get our fantasy picks in for this game, ECU and Navy. We did the results on Pirate Radio Live earlier this week, and Raji Harris beat CJ Johnson by like 0.3 points last week. So Chandler got the win with Raji. Today, we will go with one offensive player, one defensive player, since there's going to be a lot of tackles in this game as much as Navy runs the football. All right, who wants to go first?
Can I go first since he barely beat me?
I don't see why that would mean you need to go first, but yes, you can.
So we're going too deep. We're doing.
You have the first pick and the last pick. We'll go
first pick. Okay,
snake
gotcha.
Draft.
All right, so. I want to go with Omotosho.
Oh, why?
I just feel like they're going to be keying in on CJ Johnson, and I think Omotosho is going to have a chance to really separate from that secondary.
I like it. That's kind of an outside the box offensive pick there. All right, Glenn, who do you got? Offense or defense? Whoever you want to pick in the first round.
Can we take Raji Harris off the board? Is he off the board? Is that what the deal is?
No. He's had one good game.
Okay. I want Raji Harris.
A lot of thinking went into that one.
He pulled a Jim Rome on that one, boy. That was a dramatic pause.
Raji Harris, the pick.
Give me back my son.
All right, I'm going to take in the first round, and it doesn't matter because I have back-to-back picks. Aaron Ramsey, who was all over the field last week. I think he piles up some tackles today. For my offensive player, man, you guys have left me with both Snead and CJ today. I think Navy is going to take away everything short. I could go with a running back, too. I could go with Mason Garcia.
You could go a lot of different ways here.
Could I take Mason Garcia?
Yeah, because technically he's not played.
I'm taking Mason Garcia. I think he's going to run the ball with success today if they allow him to do so. They don't want him to get injured, obviously, and then have to go to a third-string quarterback. But I see some design runs called for Mason Garcia today. All right, let's go back to Glenn.
Give me Bivens.
All right, Bruce Bivens and Shirley.
Xavier Smith.
So we have the linebackers taken care of here. I have Ramsey. Glenn has Bivens. Shirley has Xavier Smith. 1 point per tackle, 2 points per sack, 2 points per forced fumble, interception. For quarterback play, 1 point per 30 yards, 6 for touchdown, 1 point per 10 rushing yards. So just basic fantasy stats. All right, that about does it. Final thoughts. We'll get y'all's final thoughts on this game. Shirley, Mason Garcia making his first start. Pirate defense throughout the years have really struggled stopping the option. So what type of game do you see happening today at Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium? Deep breath, sigh, long sigh.
I think Mason Garcia, if the offensive line can play like they did last week, I see Mason Garcia throwing it all over the field. And with accuracy. If he's as good as advertised coming into this game, I think we're going to see, what we can potentially see down the road in the future as far as quarterback in the quarterback position. As far as Navy goes, we've got to stack the box and play disciplined football, which is something that, we struggled with and we've always struggled with when it comes to Navy, but hopefully we rectify that issue today.
Glenn, ECU Navy, final thoughts.
Stomp these fools out.
Stomp these fools out. Put it off the
schneid, baby. I think today's the day that the schneid is off.
We need a T-shirt guy that can just put out T-shirts whenever we need to.
Sure.
So you got one, stomp these fools out. Shirley's produced one, get off the schneid. Like, everything we say should turn into a T-shirt. That's the next move for Pirate Radio. T-shirt.
I mean, I have been a proponent of fast turnaround on T-shirts for some time.
Yeah,
I think it makes sense.
We need a T-shirt guy. We need like an office, a production room where we can put that together. All right.
You talk to Ellaby about that on Monday morning.
See what you get. That's our Monday morning meeting conversation coming up this Monday. All right, what will the conversation be after the game on the U.S. Sailor 5th quarter call-in show?
A big win.
And a lot of people recapping the starting debut for Mason Garcia. So
I will say this, man. From our Eye in the Sky interviews videos out there that we're getting, he looks huge compared to his line. That's a big cat. And so, I'm excited. Something new, baby.
Something new. Always exciting. You just hope it can go well, and I'm not fascinated to see what kind of plays they call for him. Do they open up the playbook? Do they keep it conservative? We shall see, and we'll be with you after the game talking about it on the U.S. Sailor 5th quarter call-in show. Thanks to everybody who was a part of today's show. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for interacting with us. Thank you to Parker's Barbecue for the awesome pregame tailgate food. 3 locations here in Greenville to serve you. Not a bad time to pick up some Parkers right now and enjoy the game, and we'll be enjoying it in the post game as well when we come to you after the game on the U.S. Sailor 5th quarter call-in show. We'll talk to you then. Go Pirates.
You've been listening to the Bud Light Pregame Tailgate, powered by Bud Light, the official beer of the ECU Pirates. Stay tuned and join us after the game for a complete recap and your phone calls on the U.S. Cellular 5th quarter call-in show, right here on Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate